This is Tailgate Week, fired up by Kingsford Charcoal.
Tailgating on a beautiful October Saturday in Eugene, Oregon. But the main dish is a rematch of a great football game. Last November, after Oregon mauled USC, the Ducks traveled to Stanford. An offensive explosion took place, rocking the Pac-10. Stanford flexed its newfound muscle. Toby Gerhart rushed for a punishing 223 yards and 3 touchdowns. Stanford prevailed. The final score, 51-42. Now, quarterback Andrew Luck has Stanford rolling once again. Young Darren Thomas is leading Oregon toward uncharted territory. What a game this figures to be. Welcome to Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. You are looking live at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. An intimidating atmosphere here. Raucous fans on tap for a battle of the unbeaten Pac-10 Titans. The Stanford Cardinal and the Oregon Ducks feature two of the most explosive offenses in the country. Folks, the Ducks are averaging better than 57 points a game. Stanford not far behind. If you like offense, you have come to the right spot. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for dropping by. I'm Brett Musburger with Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk, let's start with the Stanford Cardinal offense.
Well, Stanford is an offense that's going to do it the old-fashioned way with Jim Harbaugh as their head coach, obviously playing in the NFL for a number of years. This is an NFL offense. They're going to start with their ability to run the football with 2 tight ends. They're going to get physical. They're going to try to get to the corner and see if they can outflank you. It's really going to put a lot of pressure on the secondary. If you put too much emphasis as a defense that you come up to stop the run, this is where Andrew Luck, arguably the top quarterback in the country, can pull the ball out on play-action pass and make the Oregon defense pay for overcommitting to the run. So it's a very balanced attack tonight for Stanford.
On the other side, Oregon.
Well, Oregon is the epitome of 2010 college football. They're going to try to get you out in space. They try to make some big plays, and it's all about LaMichael James. That's where things get started. Defenses put so much of an emphasis on stopping him that it's going to set things up for Darren Thomas. Last week against Arizona State, he threw for big yards. You got to believe tonight against a Stanford defense that is determined to take away Oregon's ability to run the ball from space. They've got to put pressure on Darren Thomas, see if he can run and see if he can throw. But Oregon wants big plays out of this offense.
Well, tell the Duck to fire it up because here we go. John Saunders from our Times Square studios for the Nissan pregame shift. Coming up next. Well, John, the Oregon Ducks are ready to take center stage. Noisiest venue in the Pac-10. Battle of the unbeaten. This has been the Nissan pregame shift. Kickoff for Stanford and Oregon. Coming up next.
The Rose, Fiesta, Orange, Sugar, and the Tostitos BCS National Championship game. ESPN, the BCS lives here.
Gorgeous weather here in Eugene. Stanford won the toss, and they have deferred, which means that Oregon's fast break offense will be out first. So Jimmy Harbaugh brings the Stanford Cardinal in here, hoping he can slow down this high-flying Duck offense. On the other side, Chip Kelly, who took the Ducks to the Rose Bowl last year. And as you look back on these two teams, this is the first time, believe it or not, that they have met with both teams ranked. And the Ducks have dominated except for last year. So settle in, everybody. Here we go. Stanford will kick it off, and the Ducks will attack first. Healthy today, back deep. Alongside him is Cliff Harris, promising young defensive back. And there's a penalty flag as we start this game, with Barner taking out of the end zone and out to the 21-yard line.
It looked like Stanford offsides, and with that return from Barner, who's capable of taking it all the way every time, I'm sure Oregon will want a chance to get the ball back in the hands of Barner again and have him re-kick.
I think, Herbie, anytime you can make the kickoff team come back down the field again, advantage your offense.
Yeah.
Offside on the kicking team, number 27. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Jay Sprichers, our Pac-10 referee here tonight. And Harbaugh not happy. Not a whole lot of excuse for being offside on a kickoff when you think about it.
No, I think seeing these players down the field before the game, they are so amped up, so excited for this opportunity for the Stanford Cardinal program that maybe just getting a little bit of a head start. Brian Polian, the special teams coach, out there working with them here.
Came to Stanford after leaving the Notre Dame staff.
Yeah.
Along with defensive line coach Randy Hart, who'd spent many years up in Seattle with the Washington Huskies. Nate Whitaker with the ball on the tee at the 25-yard line. Low and returnable. Here's Harris. Harris from the 3-yard line coming out. An improvement already, but not for a whole lot. Good special team tackle that time by Shane Scove, one of their best linebackers for the Cardinal. That's only a 5-yard gain on that, an advantage, and here comes the quarterback.
Darren Thomas, who redshirted last year where Oregon had a great run to a Pac-10 championship and a Rose Bowl. 6'3", but 210 pounds, can really throw it and also can run it. Tonight he's going to have to do both against Stanford.
Well, Michael James, he's played only 3 of their 4 games. He comes in motion and now sets still alongside the quarterback. And keeping it is Thomas, breaking free. And on first down, the young quarterback from Houston is out close to midfield before Howell brings him back following a 22-yard gain.
And Brent, the read is on the outside. When the defensive end commits on the outside, it's going to give you a chance as a quarterback to pull the ball out and get upfield in a hurry. Darren Thomas again tonight is going to have to show that he has the quickness to accelerate upfield.
Keeping it again. 2 consecutive plays across midfield. Short of the Cardinal 45-yard line, and there's Harold Bernard coming in.
Thing that's very apparent is Stanford wants to take the ball out of Michael James's hands, and that's why those ends are crashing. They want to keep the ball in Thomas's hands and see if he has the goods to run.
Now firing in underneath, close to the 40, but that is a first down. Batamose makes the stop. And DJ Davis was the receiver. How about the impact players in this fast break offense?
Well, let's hurry up and get him in before another snap. But LaMichael James, the go-to guy in the backfield, number 21, makes things happen. And on the outside, Jeff Mail.
Here is a roll by Thomas, complete again, going to his fine tight end, Paulson that time, and gang tackled. Herbie, as you look down there, there's an injury situation that we've got to talk about with the Cardinal immediately. Michael Thomas, one of their leaders back there in the secondary, was nicked. Practiced, well, sporadically, I guess is the best way we can put it with this secondary. And right now we see that Richard Sherman is over on that left corner and Batamose. There's the screen, and suddenly knocking on the door with a 2-and-A reception at time.
Look at the blocks. This is something that when you come to Oregon to play football as a receiver, you have to have an ability to block downfield. Stalk block, lock into those defensive backs, commit as a blocker, and they'll give you a chance to run the football after the catch.
Penalty flag, and the line judge showed it with Harbaugh was moving in his direction, and the line judge suddenly threw the flag down there. Now, I don't know if this involves Jimmy or not. Because if it's on Harbaugh, it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. Penalties and fourth, half the distance to the goal.
Jim Harbaugh had left the sideline barrier and had made his way closer to the line judge when that penalty flag was thrown.
It's about the only thing to slow down this tempo at Darren Thomas. This is where Thomas likes to keep it, down in this area.
Looking back over to the sideline after the Cardinals showed pressure, and now the changeup.
Brent, watch for him to pull it here and keep it into the end zone.
And before the whistle, the penalty flag, that's going to cost the Ducks.
On the offense,
costly penalty down there.
First down.
Brent, you talked about Jim Harbaugh down at the bottom. Down here.
He was way out of the coaches.
And the line judge hearing that didn't really hesitate. Picked up a ball. I mean, he's right down there.
So the ball is brought back near the 11-yard line. They run the option. Thomas stumbles. And suddenly after that penalty, now we've got a second down and about 10 coming up here for the Ducks.
The penalty slowed down the tempo for Oregon. I mean, they're trying to get right back to it. But, you know, it's a defense, first series, and you're already back on your heels trying to adjust to this tempo that you haven't been able to see in practice.
Now checking back over the sideline. They know the personnel of the Cardinal. See what they want run. On the read, it is James, and he is stopped short of the 5-yard line. And Masafilo, number 98.
We could talk so much about Oregon's offense on this drive. You know, Stanford really feels that they have a defense this year. We'll see throughout the night, but they feel that they have a defense that can compete with this speed.
Third down for the Ducks. They can get a first down here, just inside the 1-yard line. Thomas going to try to keep it, and he is hit immediately in the middle, and that was Thomas Kaiser, the junior from Pennsylvania, number 94, who read that perfectly. And now let's see if the Ducks elect to go for the field goal.
And they're going to go for this field goal, Brad, and that is for Stanford, depending on what happens here with this field goal attempt. The way this drive started off, playing on the road, that was a big stop inside the 10-yard line, and the 5-yard penalty helped set it up.
No question. So Rob Beard is on for the field goal. Backup quarterback, that's Nate Costa, number 7. He's a superb holder. Go back to a game we had down in the desert in Tucson last year. This is a 22-yard attempt for number 93. Knocks it across. So just like Herbie told you, could have been a lot worse as far as Stanford is concerned. That penalty changed things. Just a little after 5 o'clock out here, Pacific time. The Oregon Ducks in front of their home crowd. Beard with the ball on the tee on the 30-yard line. Owosu back deep. He'll take it back for the Cardinal from the 9. And out to the 30-yard line. Let's check in with the third member of our team, Aaron Andrews. Aaron.
Brent, we're going to talk a little Autzen Stadium magic here, or more or less the stadium that causes headaches for the opposing quarterback, and the numbers prove it. The Ducks are 8-1 here at home against ranked teams, and talking to head coach Chip Kelly about it, he says it's impossible for opposing quarterbacks to communicate, to get the signals in. You guys have seen it. Mark Sanchez, Matt Barkley, Jake Locker, all have struggled here. Andrew Luck, guys, practiced with Metallica in his ear at a number 10 volume. Let's see if this helps him.
Here he is in that power I formation. Taylor is the I back. Nice conservative call behind perhaps the best offensive line in the Pac-10. These fellas are nasty.
They sure are. And great continuity up front. 89 career starts, Brent. But Andrew Luck is the man of the hour for Stanford. Of course, we talked in the pregame. It starts with their running game. But Andrew Luck's ability to throw downfield with accuracy is a great complement to this power running game of Stanford.
Luck using the hand signals. Marisek is the fullback. He leads one way, and they run a little bit of a counter action off of it with Taylor as we take a look. And the Stanford lineup behind Andrew Luck. And here is Taylor. He's from Mansfield, Texas. There's Marisek. He plays both ways, folks. He's a fullback, number 48, one of the inside linebackers. And there is that great offensive line. Martin Phillips, Beeler de Castro, and Hall.
Third down and short to medium. Stanford probably has the best combination of tight ends in college football. Loves to look for the tight ends in this situation.
And Harbaugh's offense has bunched them, and now Marisek comes in motion to the left side as an H-back look. They're going to throw in that direction. Fire back over side, and there is Andrew Luck. Just so poised, Herbie. Just picking a defense apart. He's old beyond his years.
Yeah, he has great composure, and Owusu's just going to find just a little hole in third down and short. Anytime you go into a game early, you just want to get that first down, settle the offense down on the road, take the crowd out a little bit, give yourself a little bit of momentum, and that's where the poise, as you said, of Andrew Luck really comes into play.
Owusu goes far to the left. Looking in that direction, getting him involved early. That's the coaches wanting Owusu to touch a ball here early. As we take a look at the Duck defense, Nick Aliotti. He's the defensive coordinator. Up front, Kenny Rose, outstanding. Brandon Bear is one of the great pluggers in the Pac-10. And the three linebackers, yes, Casey Matthews is from the famed Matthews family. And keep an eye on number 20, John Boyette, out of Napa, California. He has a bright future in front of him. Scored a touchdown last week with an interception against Arizona State. And we go now 2nd and 3 for Luck and the Cardinal. They are throwing it on the Ducks, Herbie. No question about it. Owusu again, his second catch, and they say it was incomplete, the defense, but they're moving the ball.
Going to use the running back out here to draw the defense's attention, and then Owusu will just work his way back inside. Well drawn up, gets the attention of the defense just enough. Owusu sits down, again, right in that zone, finds the hole, and Luck puts it where only his man can make the catch.
Now coming back with Stephon Taylor in that ISO play. Coaches will tell you around the Pac-10 that the one thing Jim Harbaugh has changed the most at Stanford is how physical these teams are. It's like his old coach Bo Schembechler installed at Michigan. Lots of tight ends, lead fullback, but they come after you.
Great balance as well to complement that, and as we've seen here in their first 5 plays, throwing the ball 3 times here.
Taylor's out of the backfield. They might be throwing it for the 4th time right here, and they are. Marisek, the fullback. Battles.
Stanford, very important to stay at third and short, third and medium. You don't want too many third and longs against Oregon's defense. Oregon's defense, second in nation, only allowing 21% conversion rate on third down. They've already converted 1 third down. Let's see what happens here.
Marisek, the lead fullback, throws the block. Taylor for the first down. They move the chains again.
Nick Aliotti has to be concerned when Stanford starts to move the ball, Brent. Play action on 1st and 10. The double moves. Coach Aliotti knows that, and especially when Stanford's having a little bit of success, they can lull those safeties to sleep, get them to come up and run support or the short pass, and that's when you give them a little bit of a pump and go and a double move, and you get behind them in man coverage for a big play.
Luck has completed all 4 of his passes here tonight on Stanford's opening drive. Primary was covered, and there is why the NFL loves Luck. The way he came off his primary to hit Taylor that time, that was like a professional quarterback.
And look at his eyes, Brent, looking to the left to try to maybe put it to the corner of the end zone. He sees cover 2, simply comes down, checks down. How many quarterbacks in college football do you see struggle with an awareness to find that outlet? Here's a guy who's only a sophomore, but has a real natural football IQ and is savvy about him to find that check down without panicking. Checks it down to a running back for a big gain.
Linemen sit still. They come back with Taylor. Battling toward that first down marker with Casey Matthews. He's the middle linebacker coming up. Interesting story involving Matthews and Marisek. They played Pop Warner football together. That's right, and they remain to this day very good friends. And Matthews telling us yesterday that they had a few helmet knockers last year in Palo Alto, and he said we'll have even more tonight. The families are still very close, even though the Marisek family moved to Portland. He attended Jesuit High School, was not recruited by the Oregon teams, and here he is now, the two-way star of the Stanford Cardinal, and he goes out to the slot. We've got a 1st and 10. Lobs it toward the end zone. Yanking touchdown, Stanford. Griff Whalen, number 17, makes a great catch. And one of the walk-on wide receivers for Stanford. How about that, Herbie?
Beautiful throw and a great adjustment by Whalen. Not Ryan Whalen, but Griff Whalen, the former walk-on from Ohio. Comes back to the football and beats Talmadge Jackson, who never saw the ball. Great job by Whalen to recognize where the ball was, coming back to it and undercutting Talmadge Jackson for the touchdown.
Whitaker tacks on the extra point. There's a little unease in Autzen. That was a clinical drive. 7-3 Stanford.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The German-engineered sport-injected 2011 Buick Regal. And Chick-fil-A. We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Tailgating starts early here in Eugene. That was yesterday morning. Now we will see that we have people all around here tailgating outside, watching on the television sets. One of the largest crowd in Oregon history. They'll get the ball now for the 2nd time. There's a young man who scored for Stanford. Here's Harris again. Bottled up and well short of the 20. Fumble. Ball came out. Stanford signals they've got it. And they do. The referee agrees. That could have been Austin Yancey who jarred it loose. And Howell recovers.
Yeah, Brent Howell's actually down there trying to make a play, 26, but it's Yancey who's fighting to get that ball out of the hands. But right there, Howell jumps on top of it, the starting safety helping out on kickoff coverage. You talked about a little bit of an uneasy feeling after giving up that touchdown drive, and now they got to come back out this defense in the red zone where Stanford has been masterful all year with their success inside an opponent's red zone.
Well, in the red zone, they have struggled sometimes and settled for field goals, the coach is telling us last night. But at least they have put points on the board every time. So here they are again. Andrew Luck at the 12-yard line. Taylor's his running back. Great performance by that offensive line. Incomplete. Receiver was looking for help. That was Doug Baldwin, and he's not going to get the flag.
I'm glad you brought up the offensive line again, because I think it's worth repeating over and over and over tonight. You know, he's only been sacked one time. A lot of that is awareness. Go back to the touchdown. They blitzed 2 linebackers. 3-step drop, gets rid of the football. Whalen comes back. Incidentally, his first touchdown of his career. Look at the adjustment by the young man to come back and make that catch. But it's tough to get to Andrew Luck because of that veteran offensive line and the awareness that Luck has under center.
Eminem moves in as the running back for the Cardinal. That is the pistol, the quick exchange, and up to the 10-yard line. That could be the formation of the future. As you look around the landscape of college football, you read the reports of what UCLA did down in Austin with the offense that was designed by Chris Ault at Nevada. And here Harbaugh is using a play from it. And now Taylor is back as his running back. They're shorthanded there, incidentally. Tyler Gaffney has been scratched because of an injury. So it'll be Taylor, Amanam, and maybe Jeremy Stewart if they go 3 deep. We'll see about that. Third and 8. Luck is there. Outstanding runner. Touchdown, Stanford. 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns for the Cardinal.
Andrew Luck is putting on a clinic right now. 6 for 6 on the opening drive. 3rd down. Teams are struggling. Look at the recognition. Nobody's open, so that means there's an area for him to be able to sprint and be able to try to get that first down, maybe a touchdown. And there is the speed, deceptively fast for Andrew Luck to pick up that yards and the touchdown.
Whitaker. I know this is hyperbole, but I'm going to tell you right now that young Luck is the best college quarterback I've seen since Peyton Manning. This young man can do it all. Herbie, I promised you that Jimmy Johnson would get back in the thick of things, and he is now second. Chase resumes Kansas, 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN in high definition. And here's a young man who's not coming out to return this particular kick. Cliff Harris is out, and their very highly rated freshman, Josh Huff, goes back deep. They'll bring this one out on the 20th. We go to New York, and here's Robert Flores. Robert?
All right, Brent, this Taco Bell studio update. Florida and Alabama, the last 3 winners of this game has gone on to win the national title. Florida was driving until Trey Burton, picked off by Nico Johnson, tied up on number 7 Florida 3-0. Number 3 Boise State up on New Mexico State 7-0.
Well, Herbie, the young quarterback faces an uphill situation. This is a new kind of a test for him, although they were behind, as I recall, by 10 points down in Knoxville.
Yeah, 24-14 also last week out of Tempe.
Michael Thomas seeing his first action. Number 3 is on the field, and it's the James Show. One of the great runners in college football this year. He has broken the 100-yard barrier all 3 of his games, 12th time in 16 appearances, Herbie.
When he gets out in space, I love this right here. Doesn't give up on the play. A lot of backs would just go out of bounds there. He doesn't give up on the play, cuts back inside, and picks up another 5 or 6 yards.
Stanford using a new defense. There they are in the 3-4. Vic Fangio came in for the Baltimore Ravens. Had worked with Jim Harbaugh's brother to install it right now. And Masafilo, one of his down linemen, makes that stop. So brand new defensive set the Ducks are looking at from a year ago.
Watch his read, man. He'll come in late right here. See how he closes and collapses down? For Darren Thomas, still working his way through as a sophomore on some of these reads. He could have very easily pulled that ball, gotten around the end, and picked up some valuable yards.
James motions back into him. There's the read option. And again, Thomas keeps it. And he is smacked by Sherman, the senior from Compton, California, number 9.
Brent, that's exactly what we just talked about. Masafilo comes down this time, and this time he reads it correctly. Chip Kelly probably saw that from the sideline. That's the exact same play from the previous play. This time he pulls it out on the option, gets around the end, and picks up the yards that he could have had on the previous play.
Motion. Here comes pressure, and this time he gives it off to James. Good recognition that time by Thomas. Gave himself up, and on the read option, handed it off.
One thing I've seen from Darren Thomas, Brent, last week and now early in this game, he's a tough kid. There's the blitz, taking a quarterback completely out. He's not done. He's not done. He's going to give it to Howe. Lucky the official didn't call a foul there or a penalty there, but he made the right read, gave the ball up, but he's a tough kid, both sitting in the pocket and also when he runs with the football. Good decision.
Now Barner has replaced James, so Kenyon off to his left. Here comes pressure again. Thomas forced, and there is the penalty flag, probably holding back there on the pressure, Herbie.
Yeah, it looked like C.E. Kaiser, the right guard, got caught up and just pulled the man down right in front of where Darren Thomas was, right by the referee. Howell was coming on a blitz, safety blitz.
Holding on the offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty, first down.
I think the blitz caught him off guard. Watch him come from the inside. See how he comes down and he just pulls him down to prevent him from getting to the quarterback. Flag comes in.
Take it back to the other side of midfield on this 1st and 20 call for the Ducks. Thomas looking downfield, incomplete, and it'll be 2nd and 20. And here's the questions you have about the young man. When he trails in a situation like this, can he throw the ball downfield as well as he runs it downfield? The Stanford coaches all have been wondering about that this week. He and Luck teed off against each other in high school down the Houston area. Pulls it away. Complete to the outside. Moving back toward that original line of scrimmage with Howell again making the stop. He's been very active. He and Yancey have been playing. And, of course, as we reported, Michael Thomas has seen action in this game. And Jeff Mayle, the receiver.
All over the field, Howe has been. And that last play was there's an illegal substitution. Chip Kelly pretty fired up on the sideline.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 12 players in the offensive huddle. 5 yards. Still 3rd down.
You got to be careful. It'll be his turn to get an unsportsmanlike conduct for leaving that bench area, as Harbaugh did earlier.
Chip refers to these as SIWs, self-inflicted wounds, penalties, drops, fumbles. He feels that if they can avoid the SIWs, they can't be stopped. Well, they've been stopping themselves here a little bit in these first few drives.
3rd and 12, and James is far out to the left. Now a timeout is burned.
Timeout, University of Oregon. Timeout number 1. 30-second timeout.
He's got to be careful because it would be so easy to balance the book here with a penalty against each coach. And James coming out, he's upset, right?
Looked like Chip Kelly went right after LaMichael James, and Michael James, maybe in the heat of the moment, needed to be pulled away. Talking to the running back coach there. Everybody get on the same page. No reason to panic so early in this game, even though they're A lot of emotions out on that field right now. They're down 14-3 and now facing a 3rd down and long.
There's Gary Campbell. Done a fine job with the running backs here through the years. Noise right now is not a factor in Autzen. 3rd down and 12 coming up for Thomas. They put 4 down in this look. Intercepted. Threw it right to the white jersey. That's the Ducks' 2nd turnover of the game. Chase Thomas makes the interception, the sophomore from Marietta, Georgia.
Well, this defense is very, very intelligent, makes good decisions. Thomas is a defensive end. Here he is right in the middle of the screen there. He's just sitting back. He read the eyes of the quarterback, and in his momentum, the fact that he was retreating, told Thomas, look at 44. Look at the intelligence there. Sit back, wait. Ball goes up. Athletic ability from Thomas at 6'4", 240 pounds to recognize that, make the catch, and again, give Andrew Luck great field position.
Across midfield on the Oregon 44-yard line. Leads Taylor into the middle of the defensive front, and he breaks free into the open. End zone ahead. Another touchdown for Stanford. 44 yards this time. On land and in the air, the Ducks cannot stop the Cardinal. Nate Whitaker, the transfer from Notre Dame, tacks on his 3rd extra point. A stunning start. 1:08 to go in the first quarter, and Stanford leading Oregon. Meanwhile, Alabama is shutting out Florida 10-0 in that big one in the SEC. At the goal line, and Barner comes out well short of the 20. Great special teams coverage by the Cardinal. Yancey again.
Brent Rulin, the tight end, is going to have a great block to clear down. The backside guard comes around, tries to pick it up. This is a power play. This is the bread and butter of this offense. 46 right in the middle of the screen, actually gets around his man and just whiffs. 2 broken tackles, and Stephon Taylor showing, hey, Toby Gerhardt's not here, but he's starting to become the guy in this offense and has the toughness. And how about Stanford taking advantage of an opportunity? They get a turnover, they score in 3 plays. They get another turnover, they score in 1 play. Taking advantage of their chances.
Yeah, exactly. And Thomas keeps it. Stanford will now give them that play all game long in the quarterback's hands, leading 21-3.
You can see that Stanford, going back to last year, has had their way with the Ducks defense. Trend continues here early in this game in 2010.
Here comes Thomas, trying to get the edge as the quarterback, and steps out of bounds close to the 25 as he picks up the 1st down for the Ducks.
You and I have called a lot of games. In your case, you've called just a few more than me. We've seen quarterbacks that get in this position for the first time at home where the expectations are high, everybody's excited, and now you find yourself down 21-3. We're going to find out what Darren Thomas is made out of tonight.
He slips off that screen on this play, Herbie, tried to bring it down, and that's Tuane's 2nd reception, with Howell making the stop for Stanford.
And I think he has it in him. But just, he's off a redshirt year. He sat out last year. And I know he's done some good things so far in their games against Tennessee on the road and Arizona State on the road. It's a different deal against a very well-coached and talented Stanford team.
Coming back the other side, that's Huff, the freshman. And another 1st down. And again, the Ducks starting to move as we come to the end of the first quarter. So far, it has been all Cardinal. taking advantage of 2 costly Oregon turnovers. In the background, Oregon's lovely new baseball stadium. You probably know that story. Oregon State won a national championship, and the Ducks said, let's add baseball. What a great athletic facility that is, as are all the facilities here in Eugene. Something very special. Now it'll be first down and 10 for the Ducks. Big hole. And a first down by LaMichael James. He still wouldn't go down.
Now remember, we've not seen much of LaMichael James since he and Chip Kelly were talking there, and he had to be pulled away by the running back coach. And this is the holes that Oregon's used to working with when they run this spread attack with LaMichael James. And there's the fight in the heart. He will not be pulled down at 5'9", 185 pounds.
That was Vic Fangio's influence. Strip the ball. That's what they do in the NFL. They were trying to stand him up and strip him. Down over the inside now, and warming up is Thomas Tuinei. As we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, Kirby, you said it, 2 turnovers here, the big thing.
Yeah, the turnovers, the big thing, and not only that, the fact that Stanford capitalized on it. It's one thing to create the turnovers. It's another thing, what are you going to do when you get to football, especially on the road early in a game? 14 points off of turnovers to go along with the luck drive where he went 6 for 6.
Thomas snaps it off to the outside. Accurate pass again to Josh Huff, the freshman. This is another young man out of Houston, 5'11", 201 pounds. Both these schools have recruited fine players out of Houston, Texas.
Important to remember, if you just watched Oregon tonight for the first time, Brent and I talked about it earlier, they've been behind in the past. Against Tennessee, they trailed. Last week against Arizona State, they trailed, and how they fought back. So it's very early in this game.
James again. Kaiser making the stop. James, as we told you, Herbie, 12 times in 16 appearances, he's rushed for better than 100 yards, and he's halfway there already.
Kind of held in check in the first half last week against Arizona State, and Darren Thomas ended up throwing for a lot of yards, 260 yards last week.
Pump fake, gonna go down, wide open, touchdown Ducks. Jeff Mayle, the senior from Paradise, California, 29 yards. He was all alone.
This is what Thomas has to be able to do, is to be able to find his receivers getting behind coverage when the defensive backs commit to the running game. You can see they expected not just to run, but the quick throw to the outside to Josh Huff, the freshman. They bid on it just like last week against Arizona State, and Mayle's walking by himself on the backside of that defense for an easy touchdown.
Herbie, it looked like Taylor Scoffel really moved away from the wideout that time, and Rob Beard is on. Cue the duck. You'll be doing 10 push-ups now. The Oregon mascot. Every time they score, look at those push-ups that he's done. 506 in that route of New Mexico. Now there's a mascot who's in shape.
He's my favorite mascot in the country. He's the best.
And Beard with an onside kick. Did it go 10 yards? They've got it. They pull it down on the 46-yard line. So trailing 21-10, Chip Kelly reaches into his bag of tricks.
I think the kicker actually ended up getting on the football. Good effort here by Beard. Who says kickers aren't athletes, right, Brent?
Well, you know what's interesting? They used the punter, Jackson Rice, for the onside kickoffs in practice.
Look at him.
Back came Beard. What a job he did. Got it himself.
What a call by Chip Kelly. But the effort here by Beard. He's locked into that football. I'm going to get it. Yes.
What a lift that has given.
Timeout. Stanford University, timeout number 1.
So Jim Harbaugh wants to bring him over. The Ducks rallying here in the second.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? And Kingsford Charcoal, proud sponsor of Tailgate Week.
Doesn't that look good, folks? Wow. You know, Herbie, Jim Harbaugh called that timeout so that instant replay could take a second look at this.
Maybe he's trying to see if there was any contact before the ball went 10 yards.
Well, Yancey might have been interfered with trying to field the ball. I think that's what Jim was trying to signal upstairs. He got ripped when he touched that ball down there. Regardless, ball belongs to the Ducks. Michael Thomas is on the field defensively in that secondary. Play action fake, and Thomas starting to throw the ball beautifully now for the Ducks. That's DJ Davis, and Marisek makes the stop.
Talked about what he's going to have to do tonight, especially getting down in a hole the way they are. He's fought back. He's 10 of 12 now for 113 yards. You know, and this Oregon offense predicated upon tempo and speed and execution, getting everything that they need from Darren Thomas. It's a big drive in this game.
2nd and 1, you can do a lot of things here. And it's the quarterback keeping it for an easy first down. He'll hike it out of bounds.
Put a lot of pressure on this front, and really it challenges the discipline from the linebackers and the safeties. There's so many different things that you're concerned about. And if you get caught up looking at Darren Thomas, the quarterback, that's when you can get beat behind coverage the way they did on the previous touchdown. You have to read your keys and trust your eyes defending Oregon.
Pulls it back. Completes again for still another first down using Davis, the senior from Denver. And Batamasi makes the stop.
Brent, I just love the blocks and the commitment from the perimeter of Oregon. I mean, it's we focus so much on the ball, but 2-A this time, 80 picks up a great block and helps DJ Davis get free and be able to pick up another 5 or 7, 10 yards. That's great effort by these wide receivers out on the outside picking up big blocks.
Herbie, Chip told us that the one thing that really impressed him about the young quarterback was how calm he was in Knoxville when they fell behind. And again, demonstrating it here. And this is Huff, the freshman, going side to side, throwing a touchdown pass. He said that Darren Thomas, once he became the quarterback, the man, became more verbal, more vocal, stepped it up as a leader, and he's done a very good job, and we're watching that with him here tonight.
Exactly. You can see that he's in command and he's confident. Despite a couple mistakes early, he's in his zone right now.
And here's James still churning ahead. Marisek trying to stop him, but that ball's going to be spotted for a first down, I believe.
Yeah, first down. The last 3 plays are an example of how tough it is to play in the secondary for Stanford against this attack. They've thrown it a couple times to the outside, those quick passes to the outside that you have to respect and you have to come up on. And the one time that you decide to come up on it, that's when they'll give it a pump fake and they can get behind you. So, again, it's challenging your discipline.
There's the handoff, and James to the 5-yard line. Kaiser makes the stop.
Look at the hesitation up at the top when he's making this read. The linebackers, the safeties, they're just kind of not trusting it.
Touchdown. James.
Well, they went with a quick snap, and James ends up making a cut, and that was the first time, Brent, probably since the first drive, that Stanford looked lost as a defense on that drive trying to slow down this Oregon offense. This one's starting to look like last year.
Exactly.
You know?
To within 4. 21-17. A gutsy call for an onside kick, but he did not want Oliver Luck's son answering with a touchdown. AFC East rivals, 8:30 7:30 Eastern, Monday Night Football. The New England Patriots against the Miami Dolphins. A week ago, the New York Jets stood up and beat the Dolphins. We'll see what the Patriots can do down there. Rob Beard has put the ball on the tee. Owosu will bring it out from the end zone. And he is ripped with fine special teams coverage. Well, let's go to New York now for an update.
All right, Brent, right now, number 1 Alabama having their way with number 7 Florida. Mark Ingram has scored back-to-back touchdowns. Here's the second one. And the number 1 Crimson Tide rolling 17-0 second quarter. Meantime, Washington up on number 18 USC 17-14. Brent.
All right, here, 21-17. The Ducks close back in. Wilkerson has checked in as the running back for the first time for the Cardinal. To the edge. A big first down run, the first time that the young man carries the football.
Boy, you talked about the edge. Look at the blocks. Look how they outflank this defense. They've got 2 tight ends over there. The big left tackle, Jonathan Martin, doing a good job. And if you're going to give Stanford the corner like that, they're going to pick up big, big yards.
Wilkerson, a freshman, a true freshman. And now Taylor is back. So a fine change of pace with the freshman from Tustin, California. Now here's Luck. Drops it down below to Taylor, and Taylor to daylight. Well, 3 possessions and 3 touchdowns for Luck and Stanford. There they are right there. Meanwhile, Oregon's had 5 possessions, a couple of turnovers, 2 touchdowns, and a field goal. But as Herbie told you, here we go again between these two.
Can't say enough, Brent. I'm sorry to interrupt you. You can't say enough about how Luck up to this point has handled this atmosphere and the way the offensive line has handled this atmosphere.
Quick snap throw. Owosu, first down for the Cardinals. Read it all the way. Thought it was soft coverage over there, and he could get the first down, and he does. Aliotti has to find a way, Herbie, to get some pressure and get some heat. The only way you're going to take this young man out of this comfort zone is to get some heat on him.
Yeah,
Quarterbacks are sitting in a rocket chair like that. They're going to pick you apart.
And I think the tough thing, and again, Stanford's given up 1 sack all year. The tough thing is that a lot of times, if you bring pressure, he sees that and gets rid of the football very quickly. It's tough to get to him.
He has eyed the defense, doing exactly what Herbie told you. And look at that formation. Marisek, the fullback, to the 40-yard line.
We've talked so much about how Oregon gives you exotic looks and how much they really they stress you as a defense because they come out in different personnel groupings. They have different motions, different shifts. How about Stanford? How about Stanford with an unbalanced look, 2 tight ends, that last formation almost like a version of a wishbone. It really puts a lot of stress on the defense as far as recognizing your keys and where to be.
2nd and 6. Luck is 8 of 9. Now he's 8 of 10, and there's a penalty flag. Penalty flag comes flying. That was Bear and roughing the passer.
Yeah, Josh Cadeau from the backside after the ball was thrown could have held back, but he continued to go after Andrew Luck. It's a rare opportunity to hit the quarterback, so he couldn't help himself.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It comes from the quarterback's backside, from the left of the offensive line. He comes free, but had enough time, at least in the referee's mind, to be able to slow down. But he went right through him, and Luck gives him a little bit right back to him.
I am totally on the referee's side. Protect the quarterback from the blind side on that. There was no doubt about it in my mind. First down and 10. Here's Taylor stepping through. So they don't have Toby Gerhart, but they have Stephen Taylor. And when we saw him, Herbie, last November against the Fighting Irish, we thought that Stanford might have a capable running back. Not Gerhart. I don't want to go there. I mean, that young man was special last year.
Well, Gerhart that particular night did so much, but we got a good chance to see both Taylor and Tyler Gaffney, who has more speed probably than Taylor. Taylor's just a more reliable, durable, tough back. And with this committee, he's becoming the go-to guy. Last week, 28 carries, 108 yards against the Fighting Irish on the road in South Bend.
Deeper drop, covered, going to take off again, and cannot get the first down. Good coverage by Bear again, 88. He's the defensive lineman. And
one of the other things, talking so much about the running backs, look at the income free here, Kenny Rowe. And what a good job by Taylor of picking him up right there, and it allows Luck to just step up and pick up yards to set up this 3rd and short.
play action fake. Wide open. Touchdown, Stanford. What a beautiful play action fake. And Kobe Fleener goes 36 yards. And Luck strikes again. There was nothing lucky about that throw. Watch the play action here.
Well-designed play. Confusion. The secondary misfires. They get caught up with Ertz, the tight end, out to the corner, and it left it wide open for Kobe Fleener, who was left alone to the middle of the defense.
Nate Whitaker. Herbie, who's the worst team in the NFL? Who's going to have the first draft pick?
They're probably looking at their quarterback right now. I don't know.
Yeah. Help is coming.
No doubt about that.
Herbie, a challenge of the mascot. The tree has come up from Palo Alto, but can he make it to 28?
Well, it's going to be a long night for the tree. He's not used to this. Got a lot of work.
Here we go now. It is the Ducks' turn. We told you if you liked high-scoring offense, here you come. Barner was the return man.
Brandon, we talked about the confusion. Here's Talmadge Jackson, the corner. And usually a tight end in this formation will be here. Well, Stanford put the formation into the boundary, and that's Fleener who ends up scoring a touchdown. Watch Talmadge Jackson. What, over here? What? Oh, there he is over here. Now watch Jackson the whole time. He gets lost. He's doing nothing. The guy he's supposed to be covering just caught the ball and walked into the end zone for a touchdown.
Amazing. How about that call on 3rd and 1? So it's the Ducks' turn. Meanwhile, Alabama pounding Florida. That one's 24-0. Quick snap incomplete, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. Well, you know now why Chip Kelly called for that onside kick. Simply because every time he puts the ball into Luck's hands, down the field they come.
4 possessions, 4 touchdowns.
Exactly. So about how many onside kicks can he pull off?
You're right. I think the surprise is over. Important things. Darren Thomas has got to keep playing well.
There's that quick strike outside, and that one is complete. He's gone frequently to 2-A. 2-A has been one of his preferred targets in this game. Batamasi makes this time. And there's a flag. Was it a late hit?
Yeah, late flag that came in. I don't know if there was a hold on the block by the receiver or.
Was against Oregon.
Illegal block in the back on the offense. 23. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
I don't think it's on 23. I think it may have been on DJ Davis. But Jeff Mayo actually made a pretty good block. Submarine had Delano Howe. DJ Davis was caught there holding on to Michael Thomas, who's in the game, seeing if he can hold up with that injury.
2nd and 15. Boy, there was all kinds of contact over there. The linebacker had broken in. That was Scove, number 11. He's a star.
one of the best football players in the Pac-10. Great player, sophomore. He recognized that play. Again, the quick throws you have to be as a linebacker ready to get out there in a hurry. He read the play. As soon as he saw the drop, he was able to get out there and able to deflect that ball and keep it away from the receiver.
Now needing 15 on this third down. Thomas fires in underneath. Breaks a tackle very close, and Tuanay comes back with his 5th reception of the night.
Interesting call by Chip Kelly. Bit of a gambler. 4th down, and is deep in his own territory. We've seen what Andrew Luck has done in 4 possessions. There they go.
Coming out from the 34, and you know who picks it up. Hands it off to Michael James.
Well, we've seen the onside kick, and now unconventional 4th down and 1 deep inside your own territory, down 28-17. Defense can't stop Andrew Luck. Picks up a vital 1st down.
283 total yards for the Oregon offense. Incomplete. You heard me right. And only 198 for Stanford.
Well, this time Stanford had that play covered. Oregon has scored a touchdown on this little pump to the flat where they're throwing so many flares and so many passes to the outside. He gave it a little bit of a pump fake, and the other receiver released and went downfield, and he was double covered. He had no one to throw the football to there.
2nd and 10. Thomas keeps it. Thomas for the 1st down, crosses midfield with that fine speed.
Fine speed is exactly right. The end collapses. Stanford wants to see if Thomas can do this. They know Michael James can do it. They want to see if Darren Thomas can do it, trying to wear him down. Big 1st down for the Ducks.
Herbie, he's rushed for 80 yards here as he picks up 22 on that play. He's gone past James, who's rushed for 70. Pulls it back. Goes straight down to mid. Touchdown! Josh Huff, the freshman. What a 1st half this is turning out to be. 2 great offenses trading blows. Remember that they gambled on that 4th and 1, converted it, and now the 41-yard touchdown, and here comes the swinging duck on the extra point. In case you just turned on your set, we're still in the 1st half. We've got 5:41 to go. And we've had 52 points. 52 here in the 1st half.
It's a great read, Brent, by Darren Thomas. Huff comes in motion, is going to release down the sideline. Scoffel, the safety, is going to try to run with him. But the read, I think, comes right here. Watch what Jeff Mayle does to Sherman, the corner. Watch how he kind of gets caught in between. He gives him a pump fake. It draws Sherman over, and then it gives the touchdown right here, right behind Sherman, because he had to respect Jeff Mayle going to the inside. So Sherman caught there a little bit in between the 2 receivers. Good job. Right here's the pump fake. Right there, he gives him a little bit of a pump fake, and Sherman had to respect that, and it opened it up big time for Huff on the outside.
Approaching the end of the 1st half down in Tuscaloosa, 24-0. Alabama shutting out Florida. 2 minutes and 18 seconds to go. Here we have got a shootout, 28-24. Stanford about to get it back. Owosu at the 5-yard line. The wide receiver brings it up the left. And he is out. There's a penalty flag. Hang on. There's a penalty flag thrown by the field judge.
Illegal block in the back on the return team, number 43. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, we know who Aflac is pulling for tonight.
Aflac!
That's right, the Ducks. Well, before, Owen Marisick of Stanford scored offensively and defensively against the Fighting Irish, who was the last player in college football to score a TD on both offense and defense in the same game. Wow, some of these folks jumped all over this one. You guys must have had that on game day earlier today. I mean, I can hear answers all over the country. Now look, and the referee conferring. The 25-second clock, Aaron Andrews telling us, is not working. So they're going to have to make the signal when it's running down on the field.
Stanford's done a good job of driving twice to score touchdowns, but this is the toughest field position that Andrew Luck and the Cardinal have had to deal with. Not that anything has slowed them down, but they are pinned back here pretty good.
Here's the power eye with Taylor slashing to the 16-yard line. Brought down by Tommy Jackson III, number 37. He's a fine defensive back for the Ducks.
Game of numbers, and Stanford 23 plays tonight, and they have just not been stopped. Every single, whether they're running or throwing, they've been able to do what they want to tonight. They're doing a lot of formation into the boundary to get the blocking angles and the numbers to their advantage.
Comes Taylor again. Ganged up on it, short of the first down that time. So we'll see what Jim Harbaugh comes up with.
Can't get enough of this offensive line, what they're doing up front. Jonathan Martin, Andrew Phillips, Chase Beeler, David DeCastro, Derek Hall, the two big tight ends, Conrad Rulin, Kobe Fleener. These guys are a well-schooled unit on this Stanford balanced attack.
McGillicuddy in the game wearing number 80. There is McGillicuddy. He'll wear up to 3 numbers in a game. Came out for practice in 74, but with this number, he's eligible. That's a false start.
False start on the offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Mabry moving.
Big Taylor Mabry, that time lined up as a tight end. They'll throw anybody in short yardage in there at tight end or H-back. Pretty good start tonight on third down. And again, they're doing it against a defense that coming into tonight has only allowed 21% of the time their opponents to convert on third down. Second best in the country.
Steps up, drops it down, incomplete. And finally, the Ducks force Stanford to punt. This is our first punt of the football game coming up.
So Daniel Zaginski does get a chance to come out here and participate in tonight's game as a punter. Owusu that time, I think, started to look over his shoulder before he caught the football. Started to, I think, feel some of the pressure.
3:59 for the Ducks to work with it. Stop before the punt.
More
and
movement.
It's going to cost, and the crowd is suddenly becoming a factor.
False start on the offense, number 35. 5-yard penalty, fourth down.
The Autzen echo.
Look out for Barner here, Brent.
Not a good punt. They'll let this one roll dead. Big hop, and it takes a Stanford bounce to the other side of the 50. Well, Herbie, here it is, the answer to our Aflac trivia question before Marisa.
It surprised me because we all looked it up, Eric Weddle, but I was shocked that it has happened that recently. I was thinking we had to go way back. But
exactly, 2006.
Utah.
I agree with you.
I was thinking, let's go back to the 50s, and Eric Weddle, who's become a pretty good player in the pros, too.
Weddle took longer than 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's give Big Owen credit for...
Not only that, just playing fullback and linebacker in the Pac-10, that's remarkable. It's one thing to play wide receiver and corner, defensive back, but he's playing middle linebacker and fullback.
Yeah, it was 13 seconds apart. And they're on the option. Second and 7 after the 3-yard burst. James shaking off a little tenderness there. He's got 72 yards rushing. Here he comes again with a hole on that left side. Stoffel making the stop.
Talked a lot about Stanford's offensive line. Last few drives, the Oregon offensive line getting a good push. And when you go up against a 3-4 defense, you've got to be able to get up to the second level. And these guards from Oregon's offense, York and Kaiser, both are doing a much better job of getting up there and being able to pick them up.
Play fake. Down that far sideline. Incomplete. And the receiver had gone out of bounds. You saw the official with the hat off. He throws the hat. And if he was pushed out of bounds, he could come back in. Tuanay, who's been a busy receiver, he leads the Ducks. 5 catches here this half. And it was pressure by Scove coming.
But this game's starting to look a lot like last year's numbers. It's amazing.
There you are, the totals that they put up. Snaps it off. Howell making the stop on the freshman Huff.
Stanford doing a good job of coming up on those short passes now. And those passes have hurt them most of the night, but that time Howell, the safety, coming up as fast as he could there to get only a short gain for Oregon.
Deflected, incomplete. Sherman with coverage on Mail. And now here's a little bit of a longer 4th down, and we see the...
Here's something you don't see very often.
Punting unit.
Jeff Mail dropping a football. Sherman came in, but the ball bounced off the shoulder pad of Jeff Mail.
It's a little bit long, 4th and 8 for a fake, but I believe Chip Kelly did not try anything to keep the football away from Luck. Off the side of his foot. Chip may not punt again tonight.
That's it.
Reminded that ABC's new drama. We got our own drama here, but ABC's got one called Detroit 187. Great cops made in Detroit. When it's your hometown, everything is personal. So that is Detroit 187, ABC Tuesday at 10, 9 Central coming your way.
12-yard punt there. I think you're right. Let's go for it.
Exactly.
Plenty of time for Andrew Luck in this offense. 2 timeouts.
Leading it by 4. Steps away, fires under pressure, complete, and a gain of 7 yards with the receiver being forced out of bounds, and that was ruling the tight end transfer from Notre Dame.
First time Oregon's been able to get pressure right there. Kenny Rowe gets in there without having to blitz. There's the arm strength of Andrew Luck in an awkward position. Still the arm strength to throw it back to the backside there to pick up some valuable yards there for Stanford.
Second and 3. Play action, going to move the pocket to the right. On the run, going to throw it away. Outside the tackle, not going to risk a loss. Again, another smart football decision by Young Luck.
I think people are going to be surprised the more they study Andrew Luck to get ready for the next level. His ability to escape pressure, his presence, the way he has just subtle things, little feels, but really his overall athletic ability, I think, will surprise you. A great athlete growing up as a youngster.
It's because his daddy was in Europe, Herbie. They didn't play American football. He grew up playing soccer over there and then came to American football late. But he credits soccer, and he can still talk about the Premier League with you. Handoff, and Stephon Taylor is stopped just a little bit short with 2:06 to go. That brings up a 4th and short now for the Cardinal.
This is Jim Harbaugh just challenging Oregon, saying, okay, mano a mano, 3rd and short, we're going to come right at you. We have bigger, stronger offensive linemen than your defensive linemen, a back that's going to be able to fight for those yards and pick up a first down, and now they're short.
1:44, what does Harbaugh want to do?
This would be a little bit different for Jim Harbaugh. He's going to work that play clock down and then call that timeout. It would be very unlike Jim Harbaugh to go for it with this lead heading into the half.
Remember, the officials are keeping that play clock on the field.
Chip Kelly's over there saying, I'll take a minute. If my offense is clicking, I'll take a minute with 2 timeouts.
Stanford University, timeout number 2. 30-second timeout.
So they come over to the sideline, and that gives us a chance to talk about Jim Harbaugh and the job that he has done since he took over the Stanford team. You know, they were down for several years through several coaching staffs, and what he has changed here, the whole philosophy of how Stanford plays football, it's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. And he talked about when he first came into Stanford how he wanted to change the little things, just doing everything right. And he had a vision, and he's been able to apply all the things that he learned as son of a coach, as a player, a great player at Michigan, great player, of course, in the NFL, and everything that he's been able to absorb over the years, he's been able to put into play here at Stanford. And he's intense. You know, he's a lot of fun to watch.
Vic Fangio told me that he and his brother John Harbaugh, the coach of the Ravens, are not alike at all. It's very different kinds of personalities. Here's your 4th down and 1, and Stanford back in punt formation. Barner runs over, and he's going to let this one bounce, and it will be downed on the 33-yard line. So 1:10 for Kelly to work with here.
Yeah, Darren Thomas, who's had a great first half, 16 of 23, 195 yards. They're going to attack. I mean, think about how this first half has gone for Oregon. I mean, they were down big. The crowd was out of the game at the end of the first quarter, 21-3. And now they have the ball back, down by 4, with a chance, if they can put a drive together, to actually take the lead going in at the half. Never would have thought that at the end, the way things looked in the first quarter.
Yeah, some folks who probably were watching Alabama have checked us out at halftime, and you can see how many points we've had here in this Pac-10 showdown, and now out of bounds and stopping the clock. Batamasi with the stop for Stanford over there on that far side. DJ Davis.
Obviously cranking up this tempo. Thomas already ready for the snap, waiting for the umpire to put it down.
2nd down. Back to Davis for the first down. Did not get out of bounds. You can see him keep the clock rolling.
The first down will stop the clock. But Brent, notice that Thomas is going, their corners are soft. He's just firing it out there real quick to his receivers to pick up any yards they can get at this point.
Thomas straight down the middle, and it is intercepted. Picked off by Delano Howell, the junior from Newhall, California. He was looking at him all the way, Herbie.
Exactly. He stared it down, tried to come up with a big play, and he looks it down. And look, Howell's a great safety. He's a former running back. He's explosive. But that time, he simply just read the eyes and The crowd's reacting. Maybe this ball came out, and we have to take a little bit of a closer look. But the
they
eyes
may turn that over, Herbie.
Yeah, they may. But a poor throw, poor decision there by Thomas. You can see, I didn't realize he bobbled the ball here right at the end. Tough to see. Definitely worth about 5 or 6 different angles for the replay booth.
Yeah, the question is whether or not he got his hands back underneath the football before it struck the ground. That'll be the question for the replay booth to decide here, and you can make up your own mind here. He's pretty good. I'm telling you.
I don't know if there's any evidence there that you're going to be able to turn this over.
So just moments ago when you heard the crowd erupt, it was because Chip Kelly was watching on the board. And so he goes running back down to the official.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. Yeah. The pass was intercepted.
I thought he did a great job with his hands at the end, and that there was not anything conclusive. Herbie, I agree with you. I just don't think they could have turned it over with that evidence, because it was a complete call on the field.
Here comes Andrew Luck.
Gave him 50 seconds. Aliota's defense doesn't get there. And Whalen out of bounds. He's a young man who scored his first touchdown earlier in this game. He's out of Ohio. He gets way down the field. Big reception here.
Well, you can see that the crowd at the bunch formation just took everything away from Oregon. I think there's some confusion again. It's about the third time we've seen confusion from the back end of the Oregon secondary. Whalen picks up huge yards.
Great protection. Going long and hit as the ball reached him. Owosu was the intended receiver on that play, but terrific defense that time by Pleasant and Boyette.
It's the first ball that we've seen from Andrew Luck that actually was behind and late to his wide receiver. The ball actually floated in the air, and it gave Pleasant enough time to come over and close on it. But Owusu was sitting behind Boyette early, and Luck wasn't able to recognize him until it was too late, and it gave enough time for the defenders to come out and knock that ball down.
Now, if you're wondering about Nate Whitaker, he has kicked a 54-yard field goal last year against Wake Forest. They set the screen to pick up some more yards for the kicker. They get a first down at the 30-yard line with 24 ticks of the clock left. Stephon Taylor and Paysinger brings him down. Now here is Whitaker. He is 8 for 8 this year. He hit all 5 of his field goals last week against Notre Dame. Tries to drop it off. Gonna have to keep it. They're gonna burn a timeout quickly. He's going to let it run it down.
Harbaugh was out on the field with about 2 seconds left. The Oregon team's leaving because the clock says 0, but there's still a couple seconds, 1 or 2 seconds. Harbaugh was out on the field calling the timeout. Plenty of time.
Final timeout. Timer, please put 2 seconds on the game clock.
I think it surprised Luck. The coverage was actually outstanding. And then he tries to find his outlet. His outlet's covered. You know, Taylor's covered, but what you don't see, 6, 5, 4. Jim Harbaugh's almost casually, leisurely waiting for the clock to go down to 2 seconds until he called the timeout from the side.
So here comes Whitaker. A 46-yarder. Perfect on the season.
Timeout. University of Oregon. Timeout number 2.
Chip Kelly said, if you could freeze the kicker earlier this year, Jimmy, I'll do it to you.
Yep. And this first half's had about it, everything you could ask for. How'd you like to be working the sidelines tonight, Brent, with these two head coaches?
But have thick skin. All the lip readers know exactly what I'm talking about. Here we go.
He did it again. He called another one.
Timeout. University of Oregon. Third and final timeout this half. 30-second timeout.
Folks, you might want to come back for the second half of this one. This might get real interesting before we're done here.
It's timeouts. He's over there with his arms crossed calling his timeouts.
He wants that referee to come over. He said that clock zeroed out. How come we didn't just run off the field? How can you do that? Oh, wow.
I'm a lip reader.
And he's suddenly the good guy. Wow. What a night. Here we go now. Still perfect. Nate Whitaker tacks on 3. Let's go to Aaron Andrews with Coach Kelly.
Hey, we can read some lips here, but you got to tell us, what are you barking at these officials for? What are you saying?
It's really loud, so you got to raise your voice.
So what are you saying?
I just wanted to know why they won't come talk to us. I think Jim and him got friends. I don't know. I just want an explanation on some things.
What was the explanation he gave you?
Don't give me one, so we'll figure it out afterwards. It's got nothing to do with the officials. We're going to play better, can't turn the ball over. So
tell me about your defense. What's the number one thing you'll stress with them? Because Luck is having his way, and so is the running game.
Andrew's a good football player. We knew this was going to be a battle. We've been a great second half team. We'll go back in the locker room, make some adjustments at halftime, and come out and play. It's a great game.
All right, Chip. Thanks. All right, Brent.
Thank you, Aaron. 31-24. Come on back, folks. But first, stay tuned for our halftime report right after this.
Welcome, everyone, to the Northwestern Mutual Halftime Report. John Saunders alongside of Jesse Palmer. We've seen teams lose a lot of games in a lot of different ways, and they always hurt. But boy, did it have to hurt if you're a fan of the Tennessee Volunteers today. Facing LSU, you saw, well, your game plan just go out the window in this one. Jarrett Lee to Ruben Randall in the end zone. Now, pass interference is going to be called in this. This is under a minute to play. It's going to give LSU a chance. You see Derek Dooley throwing everything. But watch what happens here. The ball is snapped. It gets away from Jefferson, and the clock runs out. Game's over, right?
So that's ball game right there, John.
It should be, except for Tennessee had 13 men on the field. So Stephen Ridley punches it in with no time on the clock, and LSU gets the win.
The unfortunate part for Tennessee was they played a clean game. Only 3 penalties on the day, but 2 of them came in the final minute, and that's what cost the balls.
Staying in the SEC, the number 1 team in the nation, Alabama, looking like it tonight against Florida. Mark Ingram from a yard out, 17-0 was the score there. Later, John Brantley passes tipped, and Trey Kirkpatrick runs it in 8 more yards.
John Brantley really struggling, 5 of 13 so far with that interception. A lot of balls batted at the line of scrimmage.
Marquise Mays in the backfield fakes the run, completes it to Michael Williams. Alabama is destroying Florida right now, 24-3. Number 2 team in the nation, Ohio State, facing Illinois. You'd think this would be an easy one for them. It wasn't. Terrell Pryor to Dane Sanzenbacher, 11 yards.
Only 76 yards passing on the day for Ohio State. They had a lot of struggles on that side of the football.
Ohio State up 17-13 when Herron takes it in from 6 yards out.
Well, thankfully, Ohio State's defense gave up only 251 yards, but they have a lot of problems to fix on the offensive side, starting in the passing game.
A game many of you are watching here on ABC and ESPN2, Stanford against Oregon. And Taylor cuts through traffic, breaks free, 44 yards for the touchdown.
Stanford's offensive line has been absolutely dominant thus far in this football game.
Darren Thomas finds Josh Huff down the field, 41 yards.
205 passing yards so far, 2 touchdowns for Darren Thomas. This is the offensive showcase we had anticipated.
Yeah, high scoring, very big surprise there. Boise State and TCU did not have any problems at all today.
No, Kellen Moore off to another terrific start. TCU got off to a slow start, only 6 points in the first half. Andy Dalton, less than 50% completions, but that defense held strong. TCU rolls.
Washington against USC. Remember, this is a game that Washington knocked them off a year ago. USC Mark Tyler, 6 yards on this run. As USC goes up 21-17. This one still a little closer than you might think at 21-20. Jake Walker's having a good game in this one. Arizona State and Oregon State. It's the final. Oregon State wins it.
No, it's a nice bounce-back game for Oregon State after losing to Boise State. Jacquizz Rodgers getting it going again on the ground. Ryan Katz made some big throws, throwing the football vertically downfield.
Washington State against UCLA. UCLA coming off that big win against Texas. This is Richard Breho. Takes it in from a yard out and puts UCLA up by a touchdown. And then Breho handing off to Derek Coleman, who goes 4 yards for a touchdown.
We saw the pistol formation work wonders against Texas last week. How about today? 437 rushing yards for the Bruins.
Coleman had 185 yards in that one. Iowa over Penn State 17-3 and really controlling this one defensively.
Yeah, Iowa's only giving up 11 rushing outs so far in this game.
The Fighting Irish and Notre Dame led this one 21-0, but Boston College fighting back 24-13 to score there. Stick around. Still more coming up, including the Red River rivalry. Could Texas match up with Oklahoma? Plus, Denard Robinson running for the Roses again.
Back to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines.
We have had an offensive explosion. 31-24, 624 yards as we take a look at tonight's Southwest Airlines playbook. In the early going, it was all Stanford. Oregon kicked a field goal to go up by 3, and then Griff Whalen catching his first touchdown pass of his career. After that, Stephon Taylor went 44 yards. It was 21-3 and all Cardinal. But then in the second quarter, Thomas came back with a play fake, and Jeff Mayle stepped in from 29 yards out, and back they came. And then wide open was Huff, and that made it close once again as we welcome everybody. Kirk Herbstreit, we've had a lot of fun here, my friend.
Well, it's gone back and forth. You're right. Showing the playbook there, you could see that it looked like Stanford was having their way with them. Give Oregon credit. They've been there before earlier this year. They fought back, and their young quarterback is playing very well, trying to hang in there with Andrew Luck and the Cardinals.
Yeah, we'll see how the defense of the Cardinal holds up here with the number of plays that they're going to have to be on the field. They might not have as much depth defensively as you need in a game like that.
Yeah, and that's where Oregon, who rotates so many different bodies into the football game and become one of the better second-half teams this year in the country. They play 9 defensive linemen, 6 linebackers, and 10 defensive backs.
Beard kicks it off for the Ducks. Fielded on the 2 by Owosu. And he is stopped at the 20. Herbie, how about a look at the Pacific Life game summary here?
Well, I think the thing that has to stand out are the turnovers and the way Oregon's been able to, they turned it over early. Stanford capitalized. You can see the total yards. Oregon, big advantage there, but they're trailing in the game because of the bottom line. 3 turnovers. And you realize that coming into tonight, Oregon was plus 11, number 1 in the country in turnover margin. And in the first half tonight, minus 3. And that's why they're trailing this game 31-24.
Luck is 12 of 16 for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. And on first down, he rolls out to throw it. A terrific running quarterback, was stumbling just a little bit and may have picked up 6 yards on that first down.
When we were preparing for this game, that I knew, because we've seen him play last year, but I don't know if it's just a year more mature, a little bit more confident. His athletic ability seems to be standing out. He has 17 carries on the year this year already for 163 yards. That was coming into tonight, so he's definitely a threat to break, contain, and use his legs.
The freshman Wilkerson back in for his second play. Remember, he caught the edge in the first half. They pound him between the tackles. Third down coming up, and wow, Herbie, we've had 2 fine quarterback performances.
Yeah, and Luck doesn't have necessarily the big passing yards yet, but I think the thing that stands out is the efficiency and the way he's been able to make good decisions so far. 12 of 16, hasn't turned the ball over, and has handled this environment very, very well, and has helped this offense take advantage of their opportunities.
Third down and 4 on the opening series of the second half for Stanford. Offensive line gives him time. Can he run for it? Yes, he can. First down, Stanford.
It's a little thing, but it picks up a first down. Just a little bit of a slide off to the right in the pocket, still keeping his vision focused downfield. Wants to eventually use his arm there to pick up the first, but everybody was covered. And I'm sure one of the adjustments that Nick Aliotti, the defensive coordinator from Oregon, has made is, guys, we cannot give up the big play. Trust the receivers, respect the receivers. We can't have any more broken coverages the way we did in the first half to give up 2 easy touchdowns.
Incomplete.
The umpire that time got in the way of that one. I thought maybe an Oregon defender got his hand up on it, but the big fella in the middle, the umpire, doing his best to keep Stanford away from having a chance to make a catch. Look out!
That is a perfect example of why the National Football League has moved the umpires to the other side of the line of scrimmage. Second and 10. Steps off to the left. Has the first down as he fires it to Conrad Ruland, the tight end.
Boy, what a great job here. Watch the defensive end, the hybrid outside linebacker, Kenny Rowe. Watch how he gets into his passing lane. Made him come off of that, picks up a great block by the running back Taylor, slides off to his left, finds the big tight end Ruland. But Kenny Rowe, surprising him, lining up like he's going to rush, dropped back into coverage, got into the passing lane, didn't panic, simply came back to the other side and able to find the big tight end Ruland for the first down.
There are 350 plays in the Stanford playbook, and the card that Jim Harbaugh is holding has them all here tonight. Straight back, going long, caught at the 11-yard line. Doug Baldwin from Gulf Breeze, Florida, makes the catch, but there is a flag on the play, so the referee is coming downfield.
I think it's offensive pass interference. Baldwin looked like he actually shoved Boyette in the shoulders. Boyette couldn't find the football.
On the offense, number 89, 15-yard penalty, previous spot, first down.
Now it is Harbaugh's turn.
Yeah. But Boyette does turn his head. That's what saved him on the call. He turned his head. The officials look for that from a defensive back because he has a chance at the ball as much as the receiver does. Once he turned his head and Baldwin gave him a shove in the back, they're going to call that on offense.
You thought that was a good call, Herbie?
Yeah, I did.
Makes it first and 25. Now watch Beeler, the center. He checks his wristband. He'll make the play calls. There's the line. Trying to give Luck enough time. Under pressure, drops it off underneath to Taylor. and he's short of the 40-yard line. Aliotti has been able to dial up just a little more pressure here, Herbie, in the early going. He is seeping through some rushmen here.
And what he's been able to do is get pressure. It started late in the first half. Their front four being able to apply a little bit more pressure. This is where you start to think about the depth and the way Aliotti right there in the middle rotates a lot of different bodies to try to stay fresh with everybody that's in this game.
You know he's serious when he stands up, folks. Second down and 18. Creeping up on the corner. Here they come. The blitz is picked up by Stephon Taylor, but there was heat there again. Incomplete, and Aliotti has changed up here, Herbie. He had a corner creeping up on the outside that time. He's bringing heat.
He sure is. This time he decided to bring the defensive line slid from the right to the left, and they brought Josh Kadoo. This time the tight end was not able to recognize that blitz. I think it surprised him a little bit. See how Kadoo got to the inside of Ruland? Good call by Aliotti, catching him off guard a little bit, maybe napping there on second down and long, and that long pass didn't have any chance at all.
And that was a how do you do. Third down and 18. Steps away from it. Fires on the move, deflected, incomplete, and the Cardinal forced to punt. Griff Whalen was the intended target, but how about the job by Cliff Harris?
One of the few times that we've seen Stanford taken off the field and the punter coming out here. They rushed two there. They rushed two guys and dropped 9 guys into coverage, respecting the underneath routes, and Harris recognizes the eyes and sees it, able to come over, almost made that big interception.
Barner is back deep. There's number 24. Always dangerous. Zeklinski booms it. Did he make the fair catch signal? There's a penalty flag thrown on it. If he did, it might have been an inadequate signal, but it looked like, didn't it, at the end that he was trying to get the hand up?
He barely moved his right hand.
Any movement, though, is a signal for a fair catch. There's no question. And now Harbaugh's turn to complain about this call.
I think he ran after he caught the punt. If you're calling a fair catch, you can't take off and run. He raises his right hand, so then that's a fair catch. Then you can't take off here.
No, but the man can't go after it.
Yeah.
Interference with the opportunity to catch a kick on the kicking team, 28. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
In fairness to the player who was penalized, it was a very late signal. Man, we got steam on both sides. Well, the season-ending award, the most sought-after trophy in college sports, the Coach's Trophy, presented by Dr. Pepper. There's some fellas here from the Fiesta Bowl, and they, of course, will also represent the BCS Championship game in Glendale, Arizona. And that will be awarded that night, the night of January 10th. You're looking at a couple of teams who might be able to get there. They're pretty good. Michael Thomas on the field defensively, number 3 for the Cardinal. Here's that option by Thomas. Slips a tackler and makes a fine 7-yard run on the play. Thomas was in on the stop along with Bulkey.
Pretty good move in space there. It gave Howell a little move to the outside, gave him a pump fake on the pitch and got upfield. Nice to see Darren Thomas tonight when they take away LaMichael James, making him pay for it with his feet, not just his arm.
The second and 3, the read to James. First down for the Ducks. They go after. I think I'd have to throw a flag here sooner or later at this. Wouldn't you think, folks, that need to bring an end to this? What do you think?
I think the officials always, when it starts to get emotional on both sides, from the head coaches all the way down, I mean, this is a must-win. Both these teams want to get in their driver's seat early in the year, not just for the Pac-10 standings, Brent, but the BCS. And the whistle blew already. And Masafilo just keeps driving him back.
Stanford team that folks might not recognize. They're that physical these days. First and 10. Thomas forced out of the pocket on the move, incomplete. And they had pressure from Skov again. Boy, his number 11, Herbie, you pointed out in the first half. Number 11 is a fine football player.
Well, he's 245 pounds, and on the blitz that time, James gave his best, hit 185, 5'9". He's just not able to hold up to Skov, and Skov went right through him and was able to put the pressure on Darren Thomas that time, made him force him out of that pocket.
Alabama now leading 31-6 over a beleaguered Urban Meyer and the Florida Gators. Up the middle explodes James. He's always just a step away. Scoffle saves the touchdown.
Carson York gets up and makes a huge block on Marisick. That was the block that freed up LaMichael James to be able to get him to that next level.
3 receivers on the right. They come fast. Here comes James. Now remember, they have fast tempo and faster. They will sometimes jump right back to the line after a successful play, forcing Skov to make the stop. And
here they come
James
again.
goes over 100, and here comes that offense. Just what I'm talking about. When they get you on the move, and they've got you on your heels, they're coming right away. And now Thomas keeps it, sprints out to the left, and a fine tackle by Scoffle. Taylor Scoffle has been picked on a little bit. He's out of the Woodlands, which is very close to the Houston area, and he makes a good tackle that time. Back at the line. And now we've got an injured Cardinal down, and that is Chase Thomas, sophomore from Georgia, and that will stop it. The crowd thought maybe the youngster was faking an injury, but he's one of their warriors, and he's got to come off now. You don't want him off the field.
No, he's one of their best players on this defense. You know, he's a sophomore. He and Shane Skov, 2 good-looking sophomore linebackers. And you're right about Taylor Scoffle. I mean, we came in anticipating Michael Thomas, number 3, being injured, and how would that affect this defense. But Scoffle has shown that he can make some plays in space against this speed of Oregon's offense. Gives Jim Harbaugh one more time to give the referee a little bit of the business.
Let's check it down below with Aaron.
Hey, Brent, before the second half started up, I talked to the officials and I said, hey, I've worked Major League Baseball before. I know they can go and warn the dugouts. Can you warn the coaches in college football? And they told me, yes, we can if we think it's necessary. And I said to them, did you do it? They won't confirm if they did, but they told me if we need to, we will.
And Chip Kelly is over there. His turn to complain a little bit. Debniak. And York was over there on the bench right now, receiving some treatment. So a backup linebacker for Stanford is in the game, and Barner comes in and replaces James and stumbles forward. Can't say enough about James. He's gone over 100 yards again here tonight.
Brent, I don't mean to interrupt, but Chase Thomas, 44, who was injured previous play, just jogged out gingerly out on the field as if he wasn't injured at all. That's what has Chip Kelly fired up, that they went basically trying to slow down this Oregon offense by faking an injury.
And the crowd recognizing that was the boo you heard. Thomas is loose. And a penalty flag. Penalty flag comes down. Richard Sherman, the defensive player there.
After the play, personal foul on the defense, number 3. Penalties enforced half the distance to the goal. First down.
That is Michael Thomas. Another one of the young men from Houston. He was a quarterback. He played against Luck, good friend of Luck's, and decided to come to Stanford when Luck declared. So a first down and goal. Barner still the running back. Option look. Thomas. Great fake. Touchdown Ducks. We're an extra point away from a tie.
Now the sophomore Harold Bernard just inserted into the lineup, Brent, 28, and he's in no man's zone in between Thomas and Kenyon Barner. Great job by the sophomore quarterback. Gives him a little bit of a fake, cuts underneath him for the touchdown.
Hang on, everybody. Deadlocked at 31. At one point in this game, the Ducks were down 21-3, but they're quacking now.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Nissan, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy. And Taco Bell, think outside the bun.
Owen Marisek's family tailgating here. I mean, to watch their remarkable son play, and you saw Wilkerson's father. He's got to be happy tonight. His son, a true freshman, has played. And now Beard kicks it off. And Owosu will take a knee and come out as we check in with Robert Flores in New York. Robert?
All right, Brent, here's what's happening on SportsCenter right now. Final day of the Major League Baseball's regular season is tomorrow. Padres beat the Giants 4-2. They're now one game back of San Francisco in the division. They also pull into a tie for the National League wild card with Atlanta. Alabama is rolling over Florida right now, 31-6. John Brantley has thrown 2 interceptions. This one to C.J. Mosley. He takes it all the way for the score. The Tide rolling on the Gators. Brent.
And meanwhile here, Stanford and Oregon are deadlocked at 31. 8:20 to go in the third quarter. Here comes Taylor. Picked up a couple of yards before he was slammed to the ground, and that was Terrell Turner.
This defensive line is playing with a different level of intensity, Brent, in this second half. I mean, you could see. I mean, we can talk about Alioti making some adjustments, which he has, but I think they're playing with a lot more urgency, playing with a lot more confidence up front right now.
It helps when the coach jumps on you in the locker room.
Yes, sir.
Second down and 8. That's an attitude adjustment. Trying to get there. Luck steps away. Fires. Incomplete. Owosu the target and well defended by Javis Lewis, a junior from Tustin, California.
The underneath routes have been something that Andrew Luck has had a lot of success, mostly to the tight ends. This time he's trying to get it to Owosu coming from the left over to the right. But Lewis does a good job. Tight coverage. Has his right arm around. Tries to get into the way. And I think the coverage there, the ball's thrown on time. Owosu not able to hold on because of Javis Lewis right on his back.
Needs 8. Perfect protected pocket. Owosu for the first down. Well thrown ball. It is big target that time again.
Just like you see in the NFL, using his eyes off to the left, keep the safety to the middle of the field to give Owosu enough time to be able to operate, and puts the ball right on the money before that safety can come over. Lewis to dislodge that football. There's another example of how this quarterback using his eyes to try to help the receiver have just a little bit more time looking off the defender.
Marisek banging right ahead for a yard or two. Jim Harbaugh is like Bo Schembechler, and I can even point out our old friend Dick Vermeil. You never give up on the run in a game like this. You've got a great quarterback, and you know you're going to get to the forward pass, but you do not at any time give up on the run. Second down and 9. Play clock working once again here. Malfunctioned in the first half for a time. Straight back. Great grab, but short of the first down. Run out of bounds here on the near side is Doug Baldwin. And Baldwin was being pursued by Cliff Harris. You know, as we watched Herbie, that tight shot of Andrew Luck, the offensive assistant telling us last night that Luck is blessed with one thing that not all quarterbacks have: a great voice, that people can hear him at the line of scrimmage, and how handy that comes in now as he barks signals. He has a very deep voice, and when you talk to him, you pick up on it. And just think about right now as he comes up to the line and he has to change anything in the teeth of this crowd, they can hear him. Quick strike. Can they get the first down? Can they get the block? They do. Owosu, and ball's on the ground. Picked up. Loose football. Could be a touchdown. Banged out of bounds. Eddie Pleasant inside the 5-yard line. And look who took him out. Owosu is down, and it was Andrew Luck who saved the touchdown. And now he's shaken up. What a game changer this play is. Pleasant switched to safety. Owosu down.
Wow, Brent, let's hope that Owusu's okay. Javis Lewis hit him hard and dislodged him from that football. He picks up the first down. I'm sorry, I think it's Cliff Harris maybe that comes in there and hits him hard. But then the convoy down the sidelines.
Watch Luck. Unbelievable on the part of a big-time quarterback. Battling all the way to save the touchdown. And as the young man is going down after he's been hit once.
Tremendous.
That was Lewis who forces the ball out as he's coming down now.
Well, his left foot stepped out of bounds. Looks like that may be on the 2 or 3 yard line. Made the right call on the field. But Andrew Luck looked like he limped off the field after making that tackle.
Now watch this. Watch this cleanup by Lewis. Coming up toward the head. Got him on the left shoulder. A game-changing play. Luck just walked right past the training staff. Knows he's about to get the ball back should the Ducks score here quickly. Meanwhile, concern, and now Owosu sits up. We'll be right back. It is both a beautiful game and at times a terribly violent game. The young man over on the sideline, Owosu, and now James steps into the end zone on the first play after the turnover. And the Oregon Ducks, once down 21-3, have taken their first lead of the night. Let me correct myself. They kicked a field goal. This is their second one since they were down 21-3. So they were ahead 3-0. Let me get that straight. And Beard. 38 more.
Much like Stanford did after a big turnover, the first chance to have an offensive play, LaMichael James actually went right through Owen Marisick, the linebacker, who's untouched right there in the hole. It gives you an idea how physical LaMichael James is when he runs. He squares his shoulders.
Here again is the hit. Owosu stunned on the play as Lewis cleans up on it, and the ball is then picked up, and Owosu came off the field and is now on the sideline without his helmet, and Amanam will replace him as a return man. Go for
it. Something to keep in mind, a trend that has continued so far tonight. This Oregon defense in the entire year has only given up 7 points in the second half. And we'll see. Now, Stanford's going to fight back and get back into this game, but only 7 points all year, and a lot of it, again, has to do with that depth and the way they're rotating the bodies into the game.
Fielded at the 10. Amanam, one of the backup running backs. He replaced Owosu. Well, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Kansas on ESPN Sunday at 1 Eastern. Jimmy Johnson has his sights set on still another championship. But first, he's got to overhaul the points leader, Denny Hamlin. 1 Eastern tomorrow. There are your top 5 competitors. Kyle Busch right there in the running, along with his brother Kurt. And Kevin Harvick in 5th. And here we go. First down. Great time for Luck. Stands tall and going to be intercepted by Harris. Harris picks it off. He underthrew his receiver that time, Corey Gatewood.
Right, Corey Gatewood just was inserted into the lineup for Owusu. Interesting that Jim Harbaugh and Andrew Luck try to go with the deep ball. First time that they come back onto the field. This is the 8th interception in the second half this year for Oregon's defense, but they go right to Gatewood, and what an adjustment. Harris does a good job of adjusting and coming back to the football.
And let's remember that Harris got into the doghouse early in this game when he fumbled a kickoff return, leading to a Stanford touchdown. He was the first player to hit Owosu on that critical turnover, and now he makes the pick, and it will be Oregon football coming out from their own 30-yard line, leading it by 7. Read option, James breaks. Can't bring him down. One of the toughest runners in college football.
One of the risks when you blitz linebackers, Scove comes on the blitz. It gets picked up by Oregon's offensive line, and with James's speed, he's instantly past that linebacker and out to the secondary.
Here comes James again.
Stanford defense, be careful. They're starting to run the ball. They got the tempo going. They're having success. This is when they like to try to sneak one in on you and take a shot and try to get behind the safeties for the home run.
James picks up 3 more. It is Stanford 27.
James will take a blow. Kenyon Barner is his normal substitute. There's number 24 ready to go. On 3rd and short, he may get a quick call. He does. And he gets the first down for the Ducks. They are starting to wear down a tired defensive front.
A good job there of being on the bench most of this game. Barner comes and uses his vision that time to slip onto the outside for the first.
And there is one of the best linebackers in the Pac-10, Chase Thomas.
Darren Thomas should have pulled that. See if Oregon goes back to that.
Yep. This time he pulls it. And Marisek was there along with Yancey. Yancey coming up in the safety spot.
Chip Kelly.
You can see what they're doing here, Herbie, physically starting to wear them down a little bit.
Hands on the hips. Stanford maybe a little bit fatigued here in the second half, but Chip Kelly has a tendency to go back to a play when it's misread by his quarterback to run it right.
Barner does not get the first down. That's a big miss. That's 4th down coming up here. Remember, early in the game from much more difficult territory. So Kelly does not hesitate. He comes right back again. And Barner is stoned. Did not get the first down. And he's even getting a favorable stop, or I should say spot, by the line judge. I didn't think at first there was any question that he didn't get it.
But what a great job by Stanford. Oregon went with the hurry up. They called 2 plays in the huddle or at the line of scrimmage the previous snap, so they went very fast trying to catch Stanford off guard. Good job of holding the line there and pushing Barner back.
As soon as that helmet came off, buckle, the college rule is the play is dead. As soon as a player's helmet comes off in college football, they whistle it down. And it is Stanford football. What a great stop by the Cardinal defense.
Big time operation up front. The linebackers closing in. They were not surprised and caught off guard. Good execution by that Stanford defense. They get the ball back to Luck for the chance to get back into this game and tie it up.
Did you see number 86 there, folks? That's Ertz, a very promising tight end. Here comes Taylor.
Stanford will slip in a little zone read themselves with Andrew Luck. They've done that this year, and they typically save it for a crucial moment in the game. They won't show it all game, and then once in a while they'll have Luck hold the ball out, just like we see all night from Oregon, and keep it and go around the end for a first down. They usually hold on to it, but they do have it in the repertoire.
Here is that pistol. And now they move the running back Stephon Taylor to the right. Interchange is fake, fire incomplete. Terrific defense that time by the Ducks. That was Paysinger, number 35, who made the play. Kobe Fleener, the target.
Well, Paysinger matches up well with the big tight ends because that's usually a mismatch where they try to get a linebacker up against a tight end from Stanford's offense, but Fleener measures in at 6'6", but I'll tell you, Spencer Paysinger, a former high school wide receiver, 6'3", 231, matches up very well and shows the athletic ability and space to knock that ball away.
One of 350 plays. Back up under center. Need 8. Trouble backside and sacked. Kenny Rowe, their best rush man, takes down Luck at a key moment in this game.
Kenny Rowe has been close, but this time standing up just gets around, and the left tackle, Jonathan Martin, just gets beat to the outside. I mean, he first initially looked like he locked in, but Kenny Rowe isn't just a fast guy. He's got some strength in his upper body. He fights around Martin to get that sack.
Barner runs up, fields it on the 35, cuts back up the middle. Still loose. And the linebacker, number 44, Chase Thomas, brings him down. Well, tomorrow, NFL Countdown presented by IBM on ESPN at 11 a.m. Chris Berman and the gang. They'll have all the latest stories for you. The big one tomorrow, of course, is Donovan McNabb returns to Philadelphia. Won't that be a big story on Countdown tomorrow? Scove is injured. Key man down again for Stanford. Owosu already over on the sideline. Now their ace linebacker is down.
Scove had some injuries early in camp and missed some time this year, and it's good to see him get him up. Number 11 is one of the top premier linebackers, not just on the field tonight, but in the Pac-10.
Fourth quarter in Tuscaloosa, 31-6 Alabama over Florida. Here it's 38-31, Oregon leading Stanford, and Thomas pulls it back away and completes it underneath DeMail for 9 more yards, and a stop by Michael Thomas.
And run the football into the middle, get the ball to the outside to the receivers. Cat and mouse game with Stanford's defense, making them respect both the inside power game and the outside.
James back on the field, and he stopped with Scove back in the game and in on the stop.
I think Darren Thomas has really done a great job tonight. When they were down 21-3, I said, we're going to find out what Darren Thomas is all about. And as much as we've talked about Andrew Luck, you have to really recognize that Darren Thomas tonight, career high 338 total yards, has played very well.
Option. Dangerous pitch. James made a great catch on it. And he's out of bounds after a gain of about 8 yards. Badamasi, watch this save by 21.
Thomas comes up, and I think he got in between of Darren Thomas. Brent, I think Darren Thomas thought about maybe holding on to it, but at the last second almost had to go up and over top of the smaller safety, Michael Thomas. But a great catch, as you said, by James.
Then they pound James. Pick up the first down. Scove again trying to take him on as we come down to the final half minute of the third quarter. Barner reports in as a running back. And that was Thomas. Scoffle making the stop for the Cardinal.
Not only do they spread you out horizontally with those quick throws and the formations, the quick runs up the middle, the quick passes to the outside. Like I said earlier, Brent, a lot of times, about every 10 or 11 plays, you can count on them taking a little shot to try to catch you napping. Time's going to run out here, looks like, as he gets it off.
And we've come to the end of the third quarter. This has been a terrific college football game with the fourth quarter still to come. What a weekend in Eugene. Game days here. I'm with Kirk Herbstreit. Aaron Andrews is down below. We've had 69 points scored already in this game. And more to come, you would think, with 50 more minutes of football. Thomas off a play fake. Fires. Touchdown, Ducks. DJ Davis this time. Oh yeah, that duck is about to get more exercise. Here's Beard. A 2-touchdown advantage. We have a flag. Players are coming off the field here, offside.
Here's Tuanay is going to come here and pick up a block. Davis is here, is going to go to the end zone. But here is the young man that ends up falling for the fake. Watching the backfield. Kenyon Barner, little ball fake. This is how they get you. Watch his hesitation by seeing this action, and it frees it up on the backside here for an easy touchdown. See how the safety hesitated? Because he's got to respect Barner. That little hesitation is all Davis needed to clear from the right to the left to make it an easy throw and an easy touchdown for Darren Thomas. Just kind of lull you to sleep. Young man has played a great game.
Moving in on last year's total. Fielded at the 9 by Amanam. Out across the 20, and let's go to Robert Flores in New York for an update.
All right, Brett, big numbers there, big numbers here in our AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. Indiana's Ben Chappell, 45 of 64, 480 yards and 3 touchdowns, but Indiana comes up short, losing to Michigan 42-35. Chappell set school records in attempts, completions, and passing yards. You can take part by texting VOTE to 345-345 for a chance at a trip to the national championship.
All right, Robert. Well, Stanford still got luck on its side, and so here we go. In underneath to Taylor, but not much doing.
Brent, things change now for the Stanford offense, where they're now in a little bit more of a predictable mode with their play calling, down 14 into the fourth quarter without Chris Owusu in the lineup, so it falls more on Andrew Luck's shoulders. Been throwing a lot of the underneath routes to the tight ends and to the back, so you wonder if that's going to be enough now against this Oregon defense, and it's definitely turned it up a notch in the second half.
And he keeps it. There it is. Luck on that play action. They went for the running back, and Boyette makes sure that the quarterback is out of bounds, but it's a 21-yard gain.
Brent, we talked about that a little earlier. They'll kind of hold on to that and wait for the right moment. This time, it's just trying to get some momentum going for this offense. The defense was not expecting this. They've been driving down to take Taylor out of the game the entire game. This gives you an indication with Luck. He can pull it out once or twice a game, get around the corner, and pick up huge yards almost to midfield.
Searching for downfield weapons. Taylor, and the Ducks have done a much better job against Taylor here in the second half.
Just swarming to the football right now, and I think Stanford just kind of hanging with that running game. You talked about Jim Harbaugh and Bo Schembechler and kind of the roots of Jim Harbaugh, sticking with it. Just enough of that to keep this Oregon defense respectful of that aspect of their offense. But for them to get back in the game, some of these receivers going to have to make some plays downfield against one-on-one coverage.
Underneath, and he hit Zach Ertz, the young man I told you about earlier, but Paysinger was right there defensively, and he's a good linebacker.
Brent, Oregon has two safeties back here, just trying to make sure they're not going to give away anything very easy downfield. And right now, he's looking downfield. Oregon wants to force him to throw underneath for the short yards, keep everything in front of him, but don't give up the big play behind coverage.
Hit on the release, but it's a first down as he comes underneath to Whalen. Griff Whalen, who is becoming his most dangerous receiver. He's already caught a touchdown pass here, a former walk-on, and that's for 16 yards.
Brent, you love this. Look how he moves in the pocket, finds just enough room, focuses his vision downfield on Whalen, knowing that that pressure is closing in on him. And right now, Kenny Rose really starting to have his way with a left tackle, Jonathan Martin. They might want to consider chipping with either a tight end or a back to slow him down on passing situations.
Amanam in as the running back. He gets the call. And a good-looking run.
Good-looking throw by the official. That was about 25 yards in the air. Threw it in that holding area. I don't know if it is, but he threw it from way back there.
Holding on the offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty, spot of the foul, still first down.
That was one of the tight ends, Fleener.
Harbaugh, hands-on head coach for the offensive side of the football.
Taylor's a running back. Set the screen. Made a great catch on it, Taylor did. Ball was a little low, but he scooped it up and made his way where once again it's manageable as he reaches the 30-yard line.
Good job of baiting that defensive line, just luring the defensive line towards him before he just drops it over their heads to the waiting Stephen Taylor. And Oregon, good job on the back end of that defense, corralling Taylor because it looked like he had some blockers in front of him and some big yards.
2nd and 5. Fires wide open, and it will be a 1st and goal with Doug Baldwin, the senior receiver, breaking free.
Boy, great job. And Doug Baldwin, when Owusu has been down or Whalen has been down, Baldwin, the senior, has been the man who has had to step up for this offense. And for Andrew Luck, boy, at that time, didn't get over. He looked confused on the coverage.
24-yard gain. Pound Taylor, cut back to the 3. 2nd and goal.
How impressive a drive is this?
Without Owusu. It's gone to Whalen and Baldwin and Taylor. They've been the 3 targets. Look at the battle scars on the offensive linemen's helmets. 2nd down and goal, and McGillicuddy is number 80 right there. He'll set the edge. Touchdown, Taylor. And there's another penalty flag.
On him down, it looks like.
Oh, they did.
Yeah. It's like they may have. I was with you. I thought it looked like he got into the end zone, but maybe he skipped in. Maybe his knee may have touched. Yeah, it looked like the ball did not cross the plane.
Yeah, I think it's a good call, Herbie. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think if he stretched the ball out, he's in the end zone.
Right.
This play is under further review.
For whatever reason, he didn't have the ball in position to be able to extend it. And I don't know if he was locked up with Talmadge, the corner. Maybe Pleasant is in there. Obviously, he's trying to secure the football first, but it's all about the position of the ball once he touches the ground.
Yeah, he was down.
Yep.
It's a good call.
I don't know about you, but if I'm Oregon, wherever McGillicuddy's going, the big fella, just follow him to the promised land. 6'3", 307 pounds, wearing a number 80. I have a feeling he may lead you to the ball, but it's still tough to stop him. 10 plays, 76 yards so far, a little over 5 minutes on this drive.
Ruling on the field is confirmed. 3rd down.
Stanford not panicking at all. Jim Harbaugh.
Ruling on the field is confirmed. 3rd down.
Kind of sticking to their guns. They've mixed in some play-action pass, some runs, some big plays downfield. Had a really nice job here.
Number 80 went out, and now he's coming off. So McGillicuddy will not set the edge on this one. Marisek is the lead fullback. Remember, they went to him for the touchdown against Notre Dame. The short handoff last week. Fumble! Loose ball. Luck picks it up, and he'll go down and take a loss. And that'll bring up 4th down and goal.
Brent, I don't think he ever had the football. And I don't know if there was a miscommunication on when the ball should have been brought up. You know, the center's done a great job all night, Chase Beeler, but Andrew Luck never had his hands on the ball. He was very fortunate to be able to pick that up and then hold on to it as there's 5 or 6 green jerseys all over him.
Stanford down 2 touchdowns. Obviously going to go for it here on 4th down. Empty backfield. Offensive line gives him time. Incomplete. Ertz, the intended target. Gilden, the defender. Oregon football. A golden opportunity, Herbie.
No doubt about it.
Away from Stanford. Not going to get it, Jimmy. Not this time. And so for the first time, Stanford fails to score any points in the red zone. They were 2 for 2 earlier in this game, and they come up empty. Now they're trailing by 14. And the Ducks now will start to pound away and start to bring that clock down. Thomas makes the stop for Stanford on the running back. Once again, James well over 100 yards. He has done it for the 13th time in 17 games.
Can Oregon run the clock? Are they capable of working the clock here?
We're about to find out.
Yeah, I mean, they're so used to just putting Stanford, putting pressure on them with the hurry up. Looks weird to see Darren Thomas just kind of letting the play clock tick down.
I would say you're looking at it right now. Second down and jammed up. And Herbie, let's take a look at the Pacific Life game summary.
Well, it has been a doozy. The first half was amazing to watch what Stanford did early in this game. Andrew Luck having his way. First 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns for Stanford. And Andrew Luck was in command, but boy, Darren Thomas kept his cool. Such a good job. Remember, this team wasn't supposed to be any good without Jeremiah Masoli. 238 yards through the air. Everything he's wanted to do on the ground has set up LaMichael James. Really just been constant and been a great leader for this offense despite being down big early. Really has shown a lot of poise.
3rd and 3 for young Thomas. Breaking free and brought down by number 23 safety Austin Yancey. He may have saved a touchdown with that tackle.
Yeah, good call, Brent, because look at the crease. This is all LaMichael James needs, and this is a great example of how he's, look at that. Look at that little crease. He just hops through it, and the thing that separates him from other backs is he has a little bit of a hop here, but somehow he accelerates when he lands. He is a perfect fit for this kind of offense that Chip Kelly runs here in Eugene.
First down and 10. Herbie, you should have been with me on Friday. Remember the movie Animal House?
Yeah.
It was filmed here. I got to go to Dean Wormer's office.
Oh, my God. That had to
James
be a scene.
I got to tell you more, but right now let's go to Robert Flores in New York for an update. Robert?
Brent 0.0. Update from Iowa City. Penn State loses to Iowa. Here, Sean Prater picks off Robert Bolden. Hawkeyes roll over the Nittany Lions. Penn State hasn't won in Iowa City since 1999. They lose 24-3. Number 1 Alabama makes it look easy against Florida 31-6, and USC leading Washington 31-29. Next week on ABC, the primetime game, USC visiting the Stanford Cardinal.
Road trip again, Robert. Second down. Watch him just bring the seconds down now. Working away on that clock. Continues to tick. Bulkey making the stop. But they have taken his office, and it's really a nice suite over there for the university president. And they sometimes joke around. They bring a plastic horse in there, but you got to have a sense of humor to do that. And then I went over to the new basketball arena.
That looks
Put on the hard hat. Hoffman Construction down from Portland, and those boys gave me a great big tour of it. That's going to be a beautiful facility.
January?
They'll be open in January. They'll play some games in December, and the students are going to love it. You can walk from the dorms here in Eugene right over there to it, and it's just going to be a great facility.
Is this a great campus or what?
That's wonderful.
Beautiful.
3rd and 3. The Pac-10 commissioner, Larry Scott, here tonight watching. I'm sure he's pleased with the show. And, of course, the Pac-10 adjusted the start time of this game so that many of you could check it out, take a look at these Pac-10 teams. And so here's the question I'm going to raise. We spent a lot of time with Boise. Oregon is the number 4 team in the country. With this performance here tonight, down 21-3, And a timeout by Stanford. Are they going to start to make a move on number 3? Now, what do you think, folks? Those of you who've been with us. So we'll take a break. 4:23 left. $59,818. That is a new stadium and a state of Oregon record. And I guess our question is, will they join the duck and rush the field? And this is Oregon's first punt of the second half. Doug Baldwin is out of bounds. And now, Herbie, take us through the big picture, brought to you by Sony.
The big picture today was one of those days you just wanted to sit and watch a lot of college football. How about Oklahoma? Good game. Texas battled, but Landry Jones would not be denied as the Sooners have a huge game in a Big 12 South and knocking off the Longhorns. Michigan State, a lot of emotion. Mark D'Antonio unable to make the game. They win at home against Wisconsin. Set up a big showdown next week with Michigan State and Michigan. And LSU, wow, making up new ways every week to win a game.
And that's your Sony big picture. Here, Luck is back. Whalen again, out of bounds. And you know, Owen Marisic, the young man from Stanford who has gone both ways here tonight. Folks, he has set a new Autzen Stadium record. Yep, plays both fullback and middle linebacker. Not out there right now, I don't believe. They've got Taylor. They're going to open it up here with 4:12. They still need 2 touchdowns. They need a quick strike, and the official stops it.
Yeah, the coaches box off to our right, the Oregon coaches, they almost came through the wall. So I don't know if there's...
Timer, please set the clock to 4:04. Stop it. Start it on my ready for play.
I think they were frustrated about the clock not starting.
So there is Marisic, in on more than 90 plays here tonight. The previous record was set by John Hathaway of Idaho, 67 back in 69. And Luck still firing away. He's got a 1st and 10 now to Taylor, the running back, slipping out, and they've got to hurry up. They've got to score one, have a successful onside kick if they're to pull one out of the hat here.
Oregon still doing the best they can to try to prevent the big play, but Luck found some creases last time against his secondary.
Offensive line gives him time, near side, incomplete. Baldwin, the intended player. Okay, so Herbie, here's your bonus trivia question.
Okay.
Who do you think has the most plays by an Oregon Duck? Came against
Ahmad
Stanford.
Rashad.
No, but that's a good guess.
You like that one?
That was a good guess. I like that. Back in 1970, our old buddy Dan Fouts, 59 snaps. But he had a sore arm after that one was over. 2nd down and 10. Pops it off in underneath. And that's the Fleener, one of the tight ends. Next week, Stanford will be home. Big one coming up against USC.
Absolutely.
That'll be a great scene down there.
It sure will. And USC right now playing Washington. And what I understand, that game coming down to the final seconds between Washington and SC in the Coliseum.
Boy, Alabama sure has the upper hand of the SEC now, don't they, Herbie? 3rd down and 5. Firing, got the... No, it's dropped. Had the 1st and 10, and Griff Whalen couldn't hold on.
Well, Griff Whalen's been his guy that's been able to step up. Even early in this game, he had the first touchdown. The pressure, again, Kenny Rowe gets in there, but the ball well thrown. Whalen just does not hold on to it, and you got to wonder, was he thinking about Boyette maybe lowering the boom on him?
Boyette's an outstanding safety, one of the best in the Pac-10. Some of these guys on defense have stood up here today as far as the Ducks are concerned. Kenny Rowe with a huge sack. Casey Matthews at middle linebacker. Spencer Paysinger. Boyette. Eddie Pleasant, who's replaced T.J. Ward at safety. Got another 1st and 10. Starting to move the ball now. Baldwin. Got 3:07, a long way to go. Need 2 scores to get back in it.
Brent, all Oregon's trying to do, and they gave up a 1st down here, but again, they want to keep Stanford's receivers, number 1, inbounds, and number 2, keep them in front of them and not give up the easy touchdown.
Here's Luck. Incomplete. Well, you think about Chip Kelly, and he was a firebrand back in the first half over there on the Oregon sideline. They were down 21-3, and Chip was not happy with the way things were going. They came out all fired up in the second half, and the new AD, Rob Mullins, locked him up this week with a brand new contract. Because he could, if he'd had another great year like last year, he could have walked away from Oregon. But that will not happen here now, and the fans are happy to have Kelly over there on that sideline. Caught. A beautiful catch by Jamal Rashad Patterson, his first. And did you watch his feet here?
Yeah, we just talked about Boyette allows a receiver to get behind him. You cannot allow this to happen. Let's see if he gets his feet down. Looks like he had one, maybe two down. This will be a great look at Patterson here.
Needs one, remember.
Yeah, I think he had the left and the right. But Boyette, the one thing you can't do, right, Brent, as a safety with a big lead, you just can't let a receiver, even when the quarterback breaks contain and buys extra time, he's caught looking at the quarterback and not looking at his receiver.
So Whitaker better get ready for an onside kick if they can strike here with 2:27 to go. Got to have a touchdown. Luck floats one, end zone, jump ball, picked off in the back of the end zone. It was intercepted by Harris. That is his second interception of the night. Cliff Harris, who fumbled a kickoff in the first half, exits the doghouse with 2 picks.
Brent, on this one, he just puts it to a spot and hopes his receiver can get there to make the play, but Harris easily jumps up and makes the interception.
The Ducks taking... You know, Herbie, there's a remarkable thing about the Oregon defense, and that is they've allowed only 7 points in the second half all year. None here tonight. Only 7 scored by Arizona State in that wild game down in the desert. So we've got to take hats off to Nick Aliotti up in the booth, the defensive coordinator, and he is the subject of a big profile in Eugene Magazine. And a young man up here in the press box handed it out. Nice folks around here, and we certainly have enjoyed making the visit. We've been given a lot of help, and there is Nick getting ready to celebrate, and we welcome back Brian Movelson to the booth, working now here with the Oregon Sports Administration, and it was nice to have him helping Scott Musburger out as a spotter. We have to remind Brian, his job is to watch the opening flip, though. He
got out of the gate and missed the coin toss. That used to be his wheelhouse when he was out with us weekly.
So I want to remind everybody as we bring this one down that there's a dandy Monday nighter, because you're going to have New England going down to play an AFC East game in Miami. Chad Henne and the boys. So what will Brady and Randy Moss, can they hold down and outscore Henne and Brandon Marshall? Herbie, I don't believe this was just handed to me. In college football, Washington beat USC tonight, 32-31.
Sark is able to go back to the Coliseum, stand on the other sideline, hang out in the other locker room. Last second field goal. They pull off a major upset.
Oh, that is a huge upset out here in the Pac-10, because remember we talked about USC was going up there to Stanford. In fact, some of our crew had already booked reservations for that game.
Not me. But some people have. Florida State, Miami could be a great primetime game next week.
It'll be interesting to see
them winning.
Be interesting now to see what Ed Placey and the fellows back in Bristol come up with as an assignment. I'm sure we'll get word tomorrow morning. And game day must have had a great time coming here to Eugene.
This was amazing. I mean, every time we come out to Eugene, you come on the air. I first Sports Center hits at 5:30 local, and thousands of people.
Hello, end zone. Won't catch him. LaMichael James, and ladies and gentlemen, right down right now, this young man is a Heisman Trophy candidate. That's a 76-yard burst. That's a 257-yard evening here.
And 3 touchdowns. And that's the thing about Chip Kelly and this offense. If you're out of position just one time, and they make the right read with Darren Thomas, LaMichael James has that home run speed. He hits the crease, and he's to the end zone in a hurry. He's done it every game this year, with the exception of last week against Arizona State. They did a pretty good job of bottling him up, but tonight he gets after this Stanford defense.
It's a great night to be a Duck. But the real Duck is saying, hang on, I got to do 52 more push-ups. Come on, Duck. Come on, baby.
Pressure's on, too, because they're counting him.
And he knows that camera's on him, too. Works out in the weight room here with the football team. Students count him on down, like you said. Come on, Duck. You can do it. I know you can. What did Lee Corso do at the end of it? He did one this morning.
He was trying to hang on.
Oh, good going. What makes college football so beautiful? The scenes, all the enthusiasm, and the different things that go on. Man.
He's the best shaped Duck they've ever had.
You know? You know, while I was thanking people, Darren Brown always helps you out. Nice to have him in the booth with us. Jacqueline Jameson, she keeps everything orchestrated. Sandy Rosenbush, who comes up with all these great stories and these items that we use. Of course, my old pro, George Hill. Wouldn't be a night at a football game without George doing the stats. He'll move to Al Michaels. Come on, there's the kickoff now back in the end zone, and Richard Sherman is going to come on out. Out of bounds at the 16, final. So, Herbie, I'm going to ask you. I've been jabbering away here pretty good. What do you make of the AP and Boise State and all that now?
Alabama really impressive. Ohio State did what they had to do to knock off Illinois on the road. You know, Boise State's going to have to do that. If they want to hold off Oregon and Nebraska and Oklahoma and teams like that, they're going to have to win by 59. I already had Oregon at 3 in my poll in the AP. And it'll be interesting after this performance to see, like you said, if they close the gap. They did close the gap last week on Boise in the poll.
And, of course, again, the AP, not part of the BCS. I want to quickly point that out, that those of you who are thinking about
University of Oregon.
Those of you thinking about it, remember it is the coaches poll that is part.
Timeout number 2, 30-second timeout.
Before we go away tonight, I just want to say one more time about Darren Thomas, because I know we've talked about a lot of different individuals, but boy, the one question mark about Oregon coming into this year was how would they be without Jeremiah Masoli's leadership? And you can see LaMichael James, we knew about him. But Darren Thomas was challenged tonight, down 21-3, and he kept his cool, and he answered the bell, running and throwing. And I said in the open, it's not just going to be LaMichael James. Stanford's going to make Thomas run the option, and they're going to make him throw. Is he ready for this challenge? And you can tell by the way he's standing on the sideline, he's pretty happy with himself tonight.
I go back to what Chip said. He was calm in Knoxville. And he said, if you can be calm in front of a crowd of over 100,000 in SEC land, you're okay. And here comes now Stephon Taylor. I want to point out something about Stanford, though, before we close up. And, yes, they were outscored here in the second half by Chip Kelly in Oregon. This is the second of back-to-back road trips, and I will tell you, you talk to any they would not use it as alibi last night when I offered it. Came to South Bend, came here, and they'd been down to the Rose Bowl where they beat up on UCLA earlier. They have been it wears away on you as a football. It'll catch up to you. And it catches up with teams in the NFL, too.
Yeah, and this is new for them. I mean, Jim Harbaugh is taking them to uncharted waters for this program. Exactly. And they've handled it very well. They showed, how effective they can be early in this game. And, they've battled through some injuries tonight, and they're going to pick up the pieces here, and they're still going to be a team to look out for in the Pac-10.
Got a man open. And a one-hopper. That was Patterson again.
Well, Stanford's not going to go away in this race. Arizona's out there with Mike Stoops doing a great job in Tucson again this year.
The Ducks have to go to USC. Even though the Trojans lost today, the Ducks beat up on them pretty good up here. And that is the Cardinal schedule right there. And USC and Stanford next week in Palo Alto. And the one thing about the Pac-10, they play everybody. It's the round robin.
That's right.
Most legitimate conference schedule in the land, if you will. prevent defense. And shot at an interception, dropped down. Herbie, what about the Ducks?
Let's take a look at the Ducks, because I think after winning this game and being ranked up at number 4, people want to see where are their potential slip-ups. At USC that Brent talked about. At California, your Oregon State in a rivalry game on the road, and a big game with Arizona late. That we did that game last year in Tucson. Went into overtime. It was a great game.
Yeah, it was double overtime. And then don't forget the Civil War. You want to go over to Corvallis and you're sitting on a chance to go back to the Rose Bowl. You got your hands full in that little neighborhood rivalry, might add. Well, we've had some good times here. Can't beat the Pinos in Oregon.
Oh, you got a pair of shoes out of the deal. Too.
You know,
you can't beat that.
All I had to do was show up in my Adidas.
That's it.
Whalen across the 35-yard line. That's going to do it. Celebration begins. Here comes Kelly streaking across the field to search out Jim Harbaugh.
Handshake's always interesting.
There's Luck with some of the buddies from Houston down there. Some of the Warriors he's competed against. That's great to see after a game.
A lot of respect both ways there.
Absolutely. Well, it should be. Let's go down to Aaron with Chip Kelly, and I'll bet he's much happier now than he was at halftime, Aaron.
Yeah, he's still got that same smirk, though, Brent. Hey, despite just the explosion in the second half.
Can you give us a little respect?
Thank you. Despite the explosion in the second half, Chip, let's not forget you were down by 18 points in the first. And early. In your mind, how did you get back in it?
You know, we talk about playing a whole game, and we've been great in the second half of football games because of how we practice. And Stanford's a great football team. Andrew Luck, I said it, I think he's the best quarterback we've ever faced. I don't know if he's the best in the country because I haven't seen anybody else, but you know, I give a lot of credit to our defensive coaches. They made a great adjustment at halftime, and our players just came out and played hard.
Stay on the defense. What adjustment did they make in the second half?
I have no idea. I didn't talk to him. I coach offense.
But yeah, and speaking of your offense, Darren Thomas, you mentioned he's been down before by 10 points. He showed poise, but what impressed you when he was down by 18?
And the same thing. We just got to keep playing. We knew that we weren't going to blow this team out. This is a hell of a football team. And there's going to be a battle every week in our league. And we just came out on top today. So
you dominate the conference and you dominate these fans. Chip, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Brent.
Thank you, Aaron. Chip Kelly and the Oregon Ducks, a winner here in Eugene. The final score, 52-31 Oregon. So, Herbie, as we look ahead to the Oregon Ducks, they are definitely going to be a leading contender now for the Pac-10 championship.
Yeah, they're going to be right there, right in the driver's seat after a big win like this against a top 10 program like Stanford. And now it's just about maintaining your composure. And it's a veteran Oregon team. So I think they're going to be a team to look out for throughout the rest of the season. But still a long way to go for the Ducks.
Very happy young man out of Houston, Texas. And the Ducks are on top here tonight. So we thank you for watching ESPN on ABC. We take you to Times Square for the Ford wrap-up. Here is our friend Robert Flores. Robert, take it away.